players are back out there. Julian Goswami has got ball in hand, playing her 186th before today, 187th game, all of which have been in concert with Mithali Raj. But questions may be asked a little bit about Raj today. She batted a long time, anchored the innings, but has it got them a big enough score? Here's the first ball of the innings. Here's Goswami from the pavilion end, and first delivery is pushed into the offside neatly by Lauren Winfield-Hill, who's opened the batting with Tammy Beaumont. There's no run. We have had scenes, Isabel Westbury, at lunchtime. Scenes, I tell you.
Have we, Daniel Norcross? What kind of scenes have we had?
Well, the discovery that Alex Hartley had never eaten a tagine. The tagine scene.
Yes.
I mean, it baffled you.
Oh, no, it baffled me. You didn't know what a tagine was, because I feel like they're quite omnipresent.
You can't move for tagines, can you?
No. Not these days.
Goswami is in by Tom over the wicket, and left alone by Lauren Winfield-Hill as that goes through to the keeper. Some oohs and ahs. It was quite close to the off stump, not, I think, quite as close as the performative enthusiasm of the fielders may suggest. Let's have a quick look at that. Well, yeah, probably it's 4.5 maybe. Yes, tagines. Feel free to go on.
Well, no, only because tagines are one of my favourite meals or cuisine, and it was compared to grass, I think, at one point by
grass
Alex Hartley, which
I don't eat much of that these days.
No.
Yes, Goswami is in once more, and Winfield-Hill punches off the back foot but straight to point, and there is no run. I tried to describe it to her as like a Moroccan Lancashire hot pot, but I'm not sure it really.
No.
I mean, I don't think it's even accurate. But
no. Well, I thought it was a very pleasant lunch, and I think we've been very well catered for.
It was a lovely lunch
at Bristol, both today and throughout the test. So thank you very much. Keeps us going.
And thank you to Will Brown, the CEO here. He popped his head round the door. He's wearing a lovely T-shirt in support of the NHS. I'll tell you more after this ball. As Goswami lumbers away from us. In, but was a full ball driven at, missed. A little bit of a waist shape there, and that was close. Winfield-Hill looks utterly bemused by that. How did it do that, she's saying. It was full, it was round about just outside off stump, and then it just veered away at the last minute. Yes, there are 500 essential workers who are here today, who have taken the option of free tickets to come and watch the cricket. And it's a great initiative from Gloucestershire. It's helping to swell the crowd. We've got a pretty reasonable sized crowd, and a pretty loud one as well. Certainly an engaged crowd. Let me give you the field. Slip, gully, deep third, point extra, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a long leg as Goswami is in. It's played off the back foot again by Winfield-Hill, but again goes straight to backward point, where I believe Hector Bisht is fielding.
Lovely opening over so far from Goswami. You feel as though if India are going to defend their total of 201, a lot rests in Goswami's hand. Such a proven performer over the years. She's focusing now on ODIs, on tests. She's not playing T20 cricket anymore. And she's just as dangerous as ever, coming in from such a height.
Got some lovely shape in this over as well. Got a couple back of a length. The full one really swung as she runs in again. The last ball of the first over. Winfield-Hill clips nicely into the onside. That'll be the first runs. It's running away towards the boundary. It's being pursued. It ought to be cut off just inside. Like Poonam route, just inside the boundary, and they've come back for just a couple. There might have been a third on there, but England are underway. 2 without loss. Winfield-Hill with those 2 runs. And welcome back Phil Long, who he is a man who's always very appreciative of all catering. I've never heard Phil Long utter a cross word about any free lunch. Is that fair? Oh, why aren't you on?
There I am.
Yeah.
That's very, very fair, Daniel. Yeah. No such thing as a bad free lunch.
Absolutely not.
And I'm in that camp. Yeah.
I've also never seen anyone. I think he would have been a really terrific builder of pyramids back, sort of 5,000 years ago.
How have we gone from lunch to pyramid building?
Well,
this is quite the segue.
I've gone from lunch really to breakfast.
Right.
Because you could learn a thing or two by watching Phil Lunch at a Phil Lunch.
Changed his name now.
Phil Long at a breakfast buffet. He basically creates a foundation through multiple hash browns, and then I think he uses sausages as kind of the slats.
Are you outing him on air on his breakfast etiquette?
That's not.
Okay.
There's no
shame.
Etiquette. Not
Right.
at all. It's a breakfast buffet. What are you supposed to do with it?
Eat it?
He shows appreciation for it. He eats it. Yeah. He's just a very fine constructor of the perfect breakfast pyramid.
Wow.
You can learn a thing or two. Shikapandi starts her first over down the leg side, and wide will be called. She's coming in from the Ashley Down road end. She came out as sorry Phil. No, Phil. No.
One of the oddest things I read during lockdown, well, not the thing I read was Sachin Tendulkar's autobiography, which wasn't particularly odd, but there was a page in it where he describes when he came to England, how he was taught to make the most of the one plate all-you-can-eat buffet.
Oh, my word. I need to know more. Pandy is in, down the leg side again, but thuds into the pad this time. Tammy Beaumont rolls onto the onside this time.
Yeah, how you use the things on the buffet to make the plate bigger. I think it might have been one of the pizza chains.
Did he teach you anything you didn't know?
No, I knew it already, but it was great to see that, two wonderful cricketers were thinking alike.
Yeah. Well, what I loved to see there is that there is nothing that Sachin Tendulkar can teach you about something.
That's right, yeah. The one thing.
Shikapandi is in. Stuck on a pad again. Big appeal. She really wants it. Does Pandey? They go through for a quick single shot at the stumps. Misses. Well, this will either be a leg bye or it'll be referred, and may still be a leg bye. We'll wait to see. It was full. I say it was full. Beaumont had advanced outside of her crease. Pandy really wants it, but I think she's too far advanced, Beaumont here. Raj has made the sign. Right, well, now that's a first. During the test match, she didn't make the sign. She communicated in other ways, but she's made the T sign, so we do have a referral, an early referral by India. And let's take a look at this. So it's full. And is it swinging down the leg side? It might be swinging down the leg side. She's a long way forward, is Tammy Beaumont here. A very long way forward. I mean, she's miles out of her crease. She must have started out of her crease, and she's used her feet. Right, so there's no inside edge.
What's the angle of the shot?
Oh, yes. Well, the impact is umpire's call already, because it's over 3 metres, and it's missing a fourth stump. It's missing a fifth stump. It might just have hit a sixth stump. I'd have clipped. I think it was umpire's call on a second set of stumps. So not an ideal referral, that, by India. And England will get their leg bye, presume. Well, hang on. Score has...
It should be a leg bye, because Tammy Beaumont ran to the other end.
Yes. But she's so far outside of her crease. I mean, it's very hard until we see the side on view. Had actually the shot at the stumps hit, she would have been run out by about 2 yards.
She was more in danger of being run out than she was LBW, I think, on that.
Very much
on that
so.
ball.
And what you have learnt from that is there's a fair bit of in-swing here for Shikapandi into the right-hander. So keep an eye out for that. England have advanced to 4 without loss with that leg bye, and India have lost a referral. Pandy's in to Winfield Hill, who pushes off the back foot to the cover square of the wicket. There's no run. 4 without loss. So yes, I mean it's all been breakfast buffet talk and tagine talk, but just to complete the tagine talk, it was a tremendous tagine.
It was. Like I said, I think the catering at Bristol's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Never criticised the free lunch, etc., but it's been very good.
It has.
And
it's tasty. It
keeps us from getting too hangry, which is always a
you
danger.
Athletes do get hangry, yes. Pandy, and again that comes off a thick outside edge, squirts to backward point. Again, there's no run.
Yeah, maybe that was maybe. Don't know if you noticed, but we were getting a bit. Maybe it was the hangriness that was setting in as we were observing the Mitali Raj and Poonam Rao innings.
I think you're right, because we got so used to a kind of 1 o'clock lunch routine with the test match, didn't we? That with lunch not arriving until 2:20, it does terrible things to certain people's metabolisms. As Pandy is in, and that's clipped away nicely by Winfield Hill, off her legs, goes through the onside. It won't make it to the boundary. It's being pursued by 2 fielders, and they will pick up again just a couple of runs, 6 without loss. Steady start from England in pursuit of 202 for victory. You've had a little bit of time to mull on it, Westers. What do you make of that innings?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that it's a below par score. I think there was quite a lot attributed to the way in which India went about it. Obviously, loss of early wickets, but a good point as well is England bowled very well and fielded.
Shikapandi in to complete the over down the leg side. I say complete the over, she'll have to do it again because a wide has been signalled by umpire Sue.
They fielded well. I mean, so opening spell of Brunt and Trubsall I thought was really set the tone. Then Eccleston, I think, we're almost used to her coming in the middle overs and both squeezing and taking wickets. But I was particularly impressed as well by the field settings from England. They had very calculated plans for each individual batter, and it worked.
Will this be the last ball of the over? Shikhar Pandey is in, and that's played off a thick inside edge, and it squirts away down towards deep long leg. They think of a second. They're going to come back for the second. This could be tight. The throw comes in on the bounce, but slightly sloppy fielding means that Winfield Hill gets home easily enough. 2 overs gone, 9 without loss. Winfield Hill has 6. Beaumont yet to score. We've had 2 wides and a leg bye.
So based on everything that we know about statistics of India batting first, of England's record against India in England, in teams, the par score for first innings totals on this pitch since 2017 being over 250, based on all of that at the above, England should be very comfortable in chasing this. Obviously, this is cricket. I mean, it's a funny game, and anything can happen. But
also rain is never far away when you're in Bristol.
Rain is never far away. I feel as it will be all right today.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't have that feeling. I mean, your feeling is very soothing.
Fingers.
Can you feel it in your toes, though?
Well, that's the question. That's where the radar might go a bit awry.
It's no good just having it in the fingers.
Oh,
You've
right.
got to have it in the toes too. Strangely enough, that was playing on my radio as I drove up from Exmoor today. It's a syrupy song. As Goswami is in, upraised bat from Beaumont, and she pulls this firmly, vigorously down to a fine leg, sort of halfway between fine leg and long leg, as not a vuvuzela but a horn of some kind gets blown, and Tammy Beaumont is off the mark with that single. 10 without loss.
We've spoken a lot today about Mitali Raj and the length of her career and the number of runs she's scored. Julan Goswami, as we've mentioned, 187th ODI. She's taken 233 wickets, which puts her 53 clear of second place, which is Catherine Fitzpatrick on 180.
That is a distance, isn't it? Goswami in, driven gloriously, square of the wicket. This should make it to the boundary for 4, and it does. That is a sumptuous shot from Winfield Hill. A square drive that Virat Kohli had been proud of. He plays a lot through that area, and Winfield Hill no less accurate with her placement, picks up a boundary. 14 without loss.
Lovely shot from Winfield Hill, and I think in particular it was capitalising on a little bit of an error from an Indian bowler, and we saw that in the test. The moment it was slightly over pitched or it's a little bit wide, England got on top of it, and then she's continuing really where she left off from that good start in the test. That's good to see, encouraging from England.
Good start from England, 14 without loss. Goswami in to Winfield Hill, drives again firmly but can't beat Mitali Raj at mid-off, and there is no run. Now rain is an issue. Now even if your fingers and toes are feeling really comfy,
they are.
Unfortunately, weather apps are not.
Ugh.
They are in some disagreement with you. There's uncertainty about when rain may arrive, but could be 4, could be 4:30. Now, for those of you listening at home, 20 overs we need in this second innings in order to have what constitutes a game, and then Duckworth Lewis Stern may come into operation. As Goswami's in, short, pulled in the air, it's just evading mid-on. It's going to run away, skip away to the boundary for 4. That was a powerful shot, not with perfect timing from Winfield Hill, but with ambition. The field is up, so she's looked to go aerial. She's got it up and over the infield, which was something that was notably lacking in India's innings after Shefali Verma was out. And England moved to 18 without loss. Westers, you're showing me
no rain until 6.
Well, that says Fulham, Greater London.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, where tagines are aplenty in Fulham.
Oh, I was making such a good point as well.
I'm sorry. Goswami in, wide outside the off stump, flew to the keeper, no run, yes. Now then in Bristol. At the moment, there's a 10% chance of precipitation for the next couple of hours, moving up to 20%, then 40% from 6. That is on that app.
My fingers are accurate, I think.
Yep.
Yes. I'm going to stick with that.
I like the fact that you had yours set to Fulham Football Club. Is that where you just sort of hang out?
Yeah, I loiter.
You loiter at Craven Cottage. As Goswami is in, right arm over the wicket, that's left alone outside the off stump.
I do that
Keeper.
because they quite often have very accurate readings around sporting venues.
Oh, that's sensible. 18 without loss at the end of the third over. Winfield Hill 14. Beaumont has 1. We've had 3 overs. That target 202. That's very smart thinking, that.
And from Hammersmith, I could go to Brentford, I guess.
Well, you see, the only problem with that is that I was at Cardiff once. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you before, for a match between Glamorgan and Derbyshire. Well, the funny thing is that it didn't, which isn't in itself funny, but the ground staff brought all the covers on at 2 o'clock, and it stayed that way for about an hour, with all the covers on and there being no rain. Shikapandi starts a new over into Beaumont, who flicks this away off a pad. I'm not sure she got any bat on that. Wait to see the umpire's signal as they run through for a single. The ball rolling around behind square on the leg side. It is a leg by, 19 without loss. And as you can imagine, I was getting a little bit aggravated by the fact that we were there to watch cricket, commentate on it, and none of it was taking place. But it wasn't raining. So I went down to the groundsman's hut in something approximating to high dudgeon, but trying to mask it through charmness and politeness. Not easy. Pandy is in. That's worked it to the onside, straight to the fielder though, and there's no run. And I said, why are the covers on? And he said, well, it's going to rain, see? And I said, it's going to rain? He said, yeah, it was supposed to rain an hour ago. It hasn't happened yet.
See, so
we were off for anticipated rain.
Well, that's it. We're too beholden to weather forecasts. You've got to play as it is.
Exactly. So,
how your fingers tell you.
And your toes.
And your toes.
Shikapandi runs in, and Winfield Hill drives firmly, but can't beat the extra cover. There's no run. Well, exactly. England have just got to play the game as it is. And have we been given our Duckworth Lewis sheets yet? We haven't.
It's always an exciting moment when they come into the box. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
You start scenario build. What if they're 4 down after 20? Yeah.
Many what ifs, but that's kind of the beauty again of cricket, is that you don't know what will happen. All the statistics, all the past experience can tell you something.
Shikapandi's in, she's got to slip in, and Winfield Hill gets a thick outside edge, and it squirts down to sort of deep third, and they'll come through for just the 1 run. A false shot induced there by Shikapandi.
And with India's 2 most experienced bowlers leading the attack, Shikapandi, Yulan Goswami, such performers for India over the years. This actually is Pandey. She didn't get selected, of course, for the South Africa series, the white ball series that they played in March. 5 ODIs and 3 T20s.
Beaumont facing now, and she clips away nicely into the onside. She'll get at least 1, probably 2, as it's being pursued. The ball going through deep backward square. She does pick up 2, and England, they're coasting at the moment. They're 22 without loss. Beaumont with that moves to 3.
Yeah, this is Pandey's first ODI since playing against the West Indies in November 2019. So a while
played
back.
Too many games in that time, I suppose, but yes, it's a while. And we did see a fair bit of swing, fair bit of movement off the seam as well in the beginning of India's innings. And we've seen just a little bit happening out there so far today. Shikapandi is in. And that's block driven really, defended to short extra cover along the ground. A Yorker length delivery. End of the over, 4 have gone. England at 22 without loss. All thoughts on all of that? An England start from Isabel Westbury, and then it will be the returning Emily Winter.
Yeah, positive start from England, but equally I think India have bowled well. Perhaps you can accuse Goswami and Pandey of bowling a little bit straight at times, and Winfield Hill and Beaumont able to turn it round the corner, but nice Yorker to end that over there from Pandey. It's something she's been working on over the, I guess I'd say the off season, but that break, that period where there wasn't much cricket being played during the height of the pandemic last year. And Goswami, of course, I mean, she just rattles it off. Such a beautiful bowler to watch as well. Really classical action.
In comes Goswami then to Winfield Hill. She bowls, and that's pushed down to third man. She's hit that quite fine and come through for a single. She'll move to 16. 23 for none. She impressed me, the amount of overs she bowled early on in the test. How she could
Goswami.
just keep running in. A seamer at her age. Fair play. You just want to shake her hand.
Yeah, real workhorse. Very, very much a team player.
That shows you how economical her action is, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be able to do that over and over again.
But also somebody I think who's happy to take it on. Keep on going until she's ground into the ground.
In comes Goswami to Beaumont. She bowls left alone outside the off stump.
she's a team player in not only the way which she approaches things on the pitch, but also off the pitch as well. By all accounts, she's somebody who will happily talk to the younger seamers coming through, give them advice, tell her what's worked for her, and also around her regional cricket as well, playing for Bengal. Somebody in which all the younger players really look up to and really enjoy being around. Just stay at nets and things, and just, yeah, really a wonderful servant of the game.
In comes Goswami again, bowls to Winfield, turned away into the onside. They think about 2 here. She runs the first one hard, and they settle for the single. Beaumont moves to 4, 24 without loss, England. Just the 2 fielders outside the circle, a third man and a fine leg for Goswami. She know her plans after all these years serving for the Indian team. Covers the conventional offside field, all in the ring. And just the one slip in place, more of a second slip. There's Goswami in again to Winfield Hill this time. She bowls and she play a miss outside the off stump. They've appealed, that's out, she's nicked it. Goswami gets the wicket, that ball just swinging away. Winfield fishes and she's gone for 16, 24 for 1 England.
And that's it, that's the line, isn't it? Just back of her length, gets that height, a bit of extra bounce, and Winfield Hill onto her back foot, trying to cut it. It was too straight really for that, and a little feather through to the keeper. Wonderful again from Goswami. What a player, what a wicket, and that's important for India. They try and defend this total. Nice neat catch, and Goswami is ecstatic.
Yeah, she gave it the whole 2 hands in the air and running through. She was happy with that one, and you just feel, don't you, for India here, the only way they're going to win this game is to bowl this England team out with the amount of runs they've got, and the depth England have in their lineup is really important. They pick up wickets, and they've got their first one.
Disappointing for Winfield, who showed what she could do in the test. 2 sixes, of course, that she swiveled and pulled, and real intent going out. Quick 30 or so it was. And this is a new top order combination. Danny Wyatt, of course, I guess controversially you could say, has been omitted from the ODI squad for this series, and so she usually opens the batting with Beaumont, and Winfield Hill's found it quite difficult to really cement her place in the team at the top of the order over the last few years. So that will be a frustration. 2 more matches left, of course, of this series.
Yeah, definitely. Incoming batsman then, the captain, Heather Knight. She will be looking her home ground here, Western Storm player, so she'll be very familiar with Bristol. We wanting to start the ODI series with some runs. But yeah, that's an interesting one relating to Danny White. I obviously play with her at the Southern Vipers, and she's been in good form throughout the competition, and I mean, it's lucky for us that she's not made the squad and we get to continue playing with her.
Because she was, of course, playing last night for the Vipers.
Yep, she played very nicely again, a quick 45. As Goswami comes in to Heather Knight, she bowls left alone outside the off stump, 24 for 1.
Thick sweatshirted Heather Knight, but yes, Wyatt, I mean, she's had a really good start to the Rachel Heo Flint Trophy. Got some good solid scores, really, well, I mean, not anchored, that's the wrong word I think for someone like Wyatt, but really sort of kick-started the innings for the Vipers and the Rachel Heo Flint. But she's had a lean period in international cricket, looking at the New Zealand ODI series.
In comes Goswami tonight. She bowls and forward in defence, no run. Goswami's fired up here, hands on the head. Solid in defence was Knight, 24 for 1. That's 5 overs gone. Yeah, it's an interesting one, I think, with Wyatt, and the way she goes about her cricket, she sort of goes about it in such an attacking way, and she's always going to be effective, isn't she, in the T20 competition, and hopefully she will get in the T20 series for England, because I think she's so important at the top of the order. But it's in the ODI, it's about being able to do it for a prolonged period of times, and I mean, she has in the Rachel Heo Flint, she scored numerous 50s, but she then hasn't gone on and got that 3-figure score.
Yeah, I wonder if there's more than just sort of form and potential with the bat going on. There's more behind the selection or the non-selection.
In comes Pandy to Beaumont, and that's hit her on the pad, and they're not going to appeal. That was outside the line, so no run.
More of a message sort of to say, right, if you really are serious about being an ODI player, show us what you can do in the domestic game that teams can build innings around her. 3 half centuries in her first 3 matches at Rachel Hayhoe Flint. I mean, maybe there's an argument that she's been sort of pigeonholed as a T20 player, a bish bash bosh, when she can do so much more.
In comes Pandy to Beaumont, and that's driven back to her in swinging delivery there from Pandy. Yeah, and I just think with Wyatt, she's so exciting to watch. I mean, I get to watch her week in, week out, but how she goes about it, she really takes the bowler. She's going hard at the ball, and that's just how she plays. And I think probably the message England, that they want her to do it for longer periods. But will that mean she changes the way she plays to do that? In comes Pandy to Beaumont. She bowls, and that's hit to extra cover. Will be no run.
I think we'll see Wyatt back in the ODI squad not too long a time. I think a few messages being sent perhaps, but she's a talented player. She's a mature player now as well, obviously a prolific T20 player. And I think her run so far in domestic cricket, she was a surprise to be admitted. But this is a chance now for a new opening partnership, that of Winfield Hill and Beaumont.
In comes Pandy to Beaumont. She bowls again in defence, no run. Nice tight bowling from India here.
Yeah, just on Pandy's line here, and the ball is really swinging in quite late as well into Beaumont. She's finding it hard just to get her timing right. Being tucked up a little. This is good bowling, good opening here from India.
She's patting out her crease as Sammy, so her back foot's just outside that popping crease. Keeper stood back trying to negate the swing. But really tight ring field here for Pandy as she comes in to Beaumont again. And that's wide, that's driven through the covers. That will race away to the boundary for 4. Too much width, too full, and Beaumont punishes. She moves to 12.
Lovely looking shot, capitalised there, as we saw Winfield Hill do early on. Anything a little bit wide, a little bit too full. And that's the one, through her hands at it. Nice and safe, square of the wicket. Good looking shot.
Scoreboard beats me again. She's moved to 8.
They were quick today, actually. They were a little bit slower at the test, so
it's going up and down. 1 minute is fast, the next minute is slow. They're playing with me. In comes Pandy to Beaumont. Again, 4, and that's driven. Same result, this time slightly further in front of square, but she just leant on that one, and that's 4 more runs to Beaumont. And now she does move to 12, and the score 32 for 1.
Yeah, a little smile under the grill there from Beaumont.
That's a shame really as well, isn't it? Pandy started the over really tight, really dotting up Beaumont. We know she likes to score freely, then she's just given her 2 bits of width, and then they get 8 off that over comfortably.
Yeah, and the length, I think, just a little bit full. I mean, you can lean on it. Someone like Tammy Beaumont, such a nice stroker of the ball. That will help just settle a few nerves. 32 for 1 after 6. Knight yet to score. Goswami 1 for 13. She's such a delight to watch.
Goswami just putting the marker back in the position. It had blown away in that previous over. I thought someone threw it when I saw it, but it somehow moved. Goswami onto that, and she's at the top of her mark from this pavilion end, bowling to the England captain Heather Knight. In she comes, she bowls, and that's forward in defence, no run. 32 for 1.
Yeah, that previous wicket from Julan Goswami, a 72nd against England. Nobody's taken more wickets against England, and she now brings her career total up to 234 ODI wickets.
Wow.
Yes, quite. I think that's the right reaction.
Well bowled. So 25 on her back then, at the top of the mark from this pavilion end. Here at Bristol into Heather Knight, and that's turned away onto the onside. She'll be off her mark. They think about 2 here. They run this first one hard. They get 2 comfortably. Heather Knight will move to 2, and that'll be 34 for 1. Floodlights are on here. Still overcast conditions. You can see the breeze in the flags that we see out in the stand, but a decent crowd here.
Yeah, lovely smattering around the ground, and it's nicely spread across all the different stands as well. Sometimes you see clustered into 1 or 2 applause from all different parts of the stand.
And a range of England and India fans here as well. In comes Goswami to Heather Knight, the captain. She bowls forward in defence. Again, hands on head by Goswami. She's getting right into this. 32 for 1. What other bowlers are you looking forward to seeing here for India? Who do you think is going to be the key?
Well, aside from these two top of the order, I mean, Ekta Bisht has been, I guess, recalled, but she wasn't in the test. She didn't feature in the test, so she's always somebody that batters find quite hard to get away, hard to get underneath.
In comes Goswami tonight. That's driven through the offside. Fantastic shot. That is over the boundary rope now. 2 full, too much width, and Knight punishes it. She moves to 6.
I think it'll be interesting to see as well what Vastrika can do. She's a backup seamer that doesn't always feature in an India side. It's had good domestic returns of late. We saw some nice strokes from her with the bat as well.
Yes, good batting here from England. They're just waiting for that loose delivery, and they're certainly punishing it. 38 for 1. Knight 6 off 6 deliveries so far. In comes Goswami again. She bowls, and that's hit her on the pad. Will be no run. Too high. 38 for 1 at Bristol. 6 6 overs gone. Still a delivery. 1 ball ahead. So you think Ekta Bisht is going to be key here?
Yeah, I think Bisht is she's just one of those irritating bowlers. And Mitali Raj often trusts her with the sort of the difficult overs, the ones in the middle, tries to tie teams down.
In comes Goswami again tonight. She bowls, and that's a thick outside edge, but she falls safely. Goes down to the 3rd man boundary. Knight moves to 7.
Very canny one-day bowler, very experienced as well. So she'll be, again, another key bowler to India's chances in trying to really constrain England here.
39 for 1 then, 7 overs gone. Isabel leaves us, and we'll be joined by the World Cup winner Alex Hartley, as we have to do the sanitising in these COVID times. And 39 for 1. I think we've got a change of bowling here from the Ashley Down Road end. We do. It will be Starker into the attack as Alex joins me.
Hello.
What have we made of it so far, Alex?
Yeah, it's been a decent start, hasn't it? It's been entertaining, very calm, collected, but hit the bad ball.
Yeah, just been patient, the England batters, and that's all they have to do when they're chasing. Just need 202 to win here at India. As Starker does a mock run up there. I thought, Knight's not looking here.
What are you doing?
I haven't seen that for ages, you know. You don't tend to see that much now these days, do you? People like pretending to run up to bowl.
No, it's very much a thing of the past.
Not for Starker here. She's ready to go. Heather Knight, 7 not out. Will be the one to face Starker's first delivery. Just one slip in place as she comes from the Ashley Down Road end. She bowls, and that's driven nicely through the covers again. That's racing away to 4. 2 full, too much width, and the same result. Score moves to 43, Knight to 11.
Oh, a beautiful shot from Heather Knight. Another beautiful shot. She plays that so well. Vastrika just getting her line and her length wrong. 2 full for Heather Knight. And with all the fielders up inside the ring and the cover boundary, that is 4 runs.
That's textbook, isn't it? That's what you get taught, don't you, as a kid? Textbook cover drive. And one the cricket fans like to see. As Starker top of her mark again. Into Heather Knight. She bowls, and that's width, and that's turned down past the backward point. They come through for a quick single. And not tidy into the gloves, but back to mid-wicket. 44 for 1. Who are you looking forward to seeing, Alex, out of the Indian bowling attack?
Oh, I do like Shikha Pandey. Obviously, I do like watching her bowl. Do you know what? There's not a bowler in the Indian lineup that I don't like watching bowl. Deepti Sharma, the off spinner, obviously very effective. They've got Ekta Bisht back in the lineup. My arch nemesis, Ekta Bisht.
You can explain why that is, Alex, after this delivery. As In comes Vastaka again to Beaumont. That's driven back over her head. That's a great shot. Just timing of the ball. One bounce over her head. And that is 4 more runs to Tammy Beaumont. She moves to 16. 48 for 1 England.
These two just look like they're having so much fun out there. They've both got smiles on their faces. They know they're only chasing 200. And I think they'll want to go out and prove a point and chase this down as quick as they can.
Yes, and certainly they're making a good start of it here. So Hector Bish, why is she a nemesis?
The only bowler in international cricket to get me out. Just the once. Honestly, it still haunts me. I still think about it at night.
In comes Vastaka to Beaumont. Width this time, and that's beaten the point fielder. That perhaps should have been stopped there, but that's 4 more runs to Tammy Beaumont. She moves to 20 off the 16 deliveries. 52 for 1 England. And they're having a lot of fun out here. India just not got their lines right.
No, they haven't. Another one full outside the off stump. Hector Bish there just misfielding the ball. I mean, it deserved to go for 4, but I put that down to a misfield.
Yeah, impressive here from England. They don't have to do anything stupid here. They're just waiting and playing good cricket shots. In comes Vastaka again to Beaumont, and that's pushed into the offside, and there will be no run. 52 for 1.
Yeah, Alex's arch nemesis Hector Bish. Yes, you were bowled by her for
I'm going to guess 0.
For none, yes.
Yeah, I mean...
It was part of an England collapse that day, wasn't it? England were 111 for 3, chasing 203 to win against India, and collapsed to 136 all out.
I thought we could have won as well. And then I got out and said, Heather Knight was at the other end. I said, I'm really sorry, Hev. She just laughed at me and said, it's not your fault.
Were you going for a 50 knot there, partly, and see him home?
I was trying. We needed 67.
In comes Vastaka to Beaumont, and that's a player miss outside the off stump. A few of the Indian players appeal, but half appeal, not interested. 52 for 1.
Yeah, but that Hartley international career, do you know how many balls you faced over your... Can you remember each one?
Probably. 18.
No, you faced 53 balls.
Did I?
Yeah. 51 in ODIs and 2 in T20s. You batted 13 times.
Yeah.
Do we know how many runs in those total
Well,
balls?
I wasn't going to mention that too much.
I know
12 runs.
Yes.
A highest score in ODIs of 3 not out.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, and that famous T20 innings of 2 not out.
Did have a record-breaking partnership with Nat Siver, and it was a 46-run partnership, and I ended up on 0, I think.
Do you know what? It's all about partnerships, though.
It's all about the partnerships.
That's all that matters is the partnership. It doesn't matter what you score individually.
Yeah, that's right. I was on the same tour. Alex Hartley, 0 not out off 17 balls.
We actually turned down a few singles. I was fuming.
In comes Goswami tonight, and that's play to mid-wicket, will be no run.
Well, 4 years on, I'm now the finisher at domestic level, coming in at number 10.
What's your top score there this year?
20 odd this year. I'm flying.
What's the go-to shot?
The dab down to third man.
Is it a proper dab or is it a nick?
Well, it's a dab.
Couldn't look at me when you said that. In comes Goswami tonight. She bowls, and that's played to backward cover, and it will be no run. 52 for 1, and that's 8.2 overs gone. The weather's still holding out here at Bristol. The floodlights still on.
What is handy though, we know it's not going to rain till 6 in Fulham, so that's good to know.
Yeah, Isabel updated us there, and it's
That's right,
vital information.
Yeah, if you've got your washing out in Fulham, you can keep it out till about 6.
You're all right.
One slip in play for India as Goswami in tonight bowls, and that's played back down the pitch again, no run. It's important here, isn't it? India are aggressive, because I was saying to Isabel, the only way India are going to win this game is if they pick up wickets.
Yeah, they have to pick up wickets, they have to pick them up quickly as well. You know, they have to try and get into England's middle order. But you look down that batting lineup, and Dunkley at 6, Brunt 7, Glenn 8. You know, it is never ending. They've got a very strong batting lineup, but the only way they're going to win this is picking up wickets.
In comes Goswami again from the pavilion end. She bowls, and that's pushed into the offside again. No run. Nice tight lines here from Goswami. She pulled her lengths back. The experienced bowler. Yeah, I was really excited actually today. I wanted to see Dunkley and Glenn have a bat, because obviously been playing them in the regional games, and they've both looked real good, real aggressive and exciting players for the future. So I was looking forward to seeing them play. But if these two knock the runs off, we're not going to get the opportunity.
That means they'll get another go next time though, so we're alright.
In comes Goswami tonight, and that's pushed again in defence. No run. Goswami consistent here, just bowling top of off, but just chasing 202 England. Don't need to do anything stupid.
No, and that's the beauty of restricting India to only the 201 runs, is that the fact that they can just take their time here, go about the run chase, play themselves in, and have a little bit more time out in the middle and adjust back to white ball cricket after that long test match last week.
Do you reckon there'll still be some tired legs in that team? In comes Goswami tonight. This time worked square and no run. That's well fielded there by Poonam Raut. Quick to the ball. Another dot ball. That's 9 overs gone. 52 for 1.
I'll be very surprised if Sophie Eccleston's shoulder's still not sore.
I'd be very surprised bowling that amount of overs, but I will leave you with Alex Hartley, and Henry will join you.
Yeah, so Sophie Eccleston during that test match bowled over 60 overs over the course of 2 days, and she was moaning to me saying her shoulder's falling apart, and Kate Cross tweeted a video of Eccleston asleep at the team meal the day after the test match. So a very tired body from that girl, but she put in a good shift. But they've had a week off between test match and first ODI, so they'll be ready to go. They'll be fresh, surely.
Tell you what else is fresh. My ears.
After they're lemony fresh, are
Yeah,
they?
they are. The little disinfectant wipes that we put on the headsets, they're very citrusy.
I think they gave me earache last week.
Why?
Because I've never had earache commentating before, and we started wiping them down, and I got severe earache.
I think it might be because it was probably over 4 days and a consistent amount of headphone wearing, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you know what? That makes more sense.
Perhaps. Either way, we don't know. Hector Bish, bowling in a hat. Where do you stand on that?
Illegal.
Here comes Bish.
If I was umpire, Sue, I'd take it off as she went past.
Bish bowling to Beaumont. Whoa, what a good shot that is. Whipped round the corner, and that'll be 4 runs. It was just dropped a bit short, and Beaumont was onto it, smacking it away. 56 for 1.
Yeah, not the start Hector Bish wanted there, just dragging it down the leg side, and Tammy Beaumont, such a strong sweeper of the ball. A very simple and easy shot for Beaumont, just helping the ball round the corner.
Yeah, that was a round arm short from Bish, and away it went to the ropes. It's a good looking shot. As we see Bish moving in once more. Round the wicket, Beaumont again goes for the sweep, again gets hold of it, not quite as cleanly. The long limbs of Jhulan Goswami won't cut that off. And it's back-to-back boundaries from Beaumont, who's 28 from 20. And England are 60 for 1, chasing 202.
Again, just helping the ball around the corner, going down the leg side, not quite got her line right, and you can see her now talking to the captain, Mitali Raj. She's going to change her field, but you can't set a field to bad bowling. You just got to let her get her lines right. Maybe she takes her hat off.
Do you think that's impacting upon the bowling?
Maybe.
Do you?
Maybe.
Bish moving into bowl to Beaumont. Field remains the same. Beaumont forward in defence. There's a slip in place. We've got a deep square leg and looking around, and it's down a long on. Sort of the India kit almost blends with some of those seats as Bish bowls to Beaumont. She defends once again. Forward crab-like and pushing it into the offside.
She's as dainty as a crab, isn't she? As little as a crab.
Tammy Beaumont?
Yeah.
Depends on the crab. Here comes Bish, and Beaumont is forward, clipping the ball into the leg side. There's no run. Yeah, I suppose so. But then I sort of, it's more about the movement than the scale.
Yeah, fair.
As Bish It's into bowl to Beaumont, who's forward quickly and onto it to clip the ball up towards long on for a single. She'll keep the strike. 10 overs gone, 61 for 1. It's more the sort of sideways steps than it is the fact that she's got claws.
Yeah, fair. If you could be any sea creature, what would you be and why?
Because loads of limbs and they are quite intelligent.
Are they?
Which would make a change for me. Or there's a shark that I saw that had been found in somewhere in the Atlantic that they estimated to be 684 years old. I don't know how they know that.
Nobody wants to be that old.
Do you not think?
No, when I get into my 80s, that'll be me.
680.
680.
He is in his 80s. He's just got...
It's a good shift, that, isn't it?
It's a real effort. Right, second power play, 61 for 1. What about you?
What are those ones that squirt ink?
Octopus.
Oh.
That's already gone.
I can't have that
You
one.
can have any of them, apart from that one.
I would be a clownfish.
Ah.
I think it suits quite well.
Yeah, I can see that. Sort of Finding Nemo. Yeah.
Very quickly, sorry to interrupt. India after 10 overs, 27 for 2.
Oof.
England 61 for 1.
Well, that is significant. That shows a lot about what we've seen from the batting in this game. Dipti Sharma's going to have a bowl. A little bit of off spin with Goswami fielding at slip. Fielders in the deep at deep mid wicket and deep backward square. 4 allowed outside the circle now, but only 2 in those positions. So Beaumont, will she be tempted to go inside out? Play against the spin with a field up inside the circle in the offside. Beaumont just forward in defence.
Tammy Beaumont continuing her good form here from the after the tour of New Zealand. We mentioned it earlier, she made scores of 71, 72 not out and 88 not out, but against India in her previous 17 innings she's got a higher score of just 44.
Well, she's on to 29 today, looked in great touch. Dipti Sharma in to bowl to Beaumont, who's down the track and just checks a drive, but actually she's timed it so well she's going to pick up a boundary. Having advanced and looked to perhaps loft it down the ground, she dug it out but played it with such good timing. She picks up 4, 65 for 1.
She's played that twice today and played it both times so well. Just checks the ball into the floor, up and over the bowler's head. Could have probably had a dive in, at least an attempted diving stop from Vastrika there at mid-on, but she didn't fancy it. And 4 more for Tammy Beaumont.
That has come right out of the middle of the bat. 65 for 1.
I'd love to be able to do that. Oh, as I drop my pen.
It's always good to aspire to some achievement of physicality whilst dropping something. Here comes Dipti Sharma to bowl to Beaumont, who once again comes forward. This time will pick up just the 1 because Vastrika's been sent back to patrol the boundary, and it is just a single. 66 for 1 then. Beaumont on to 34.
I don't often drop things anymore though, Henry, do I?
No.
It's been a while since we spoke about it, actually.
Yes, go on.
I took a good catch yesterday.
Did you? Right, here comes Dipti Sharma to bowl to Heather Knight. He'll get 1 easy as that down the ground. And India, well, they can't afford England just to rotate the strike because they're so far ahead of the DLS par score that at this stage, if England just knock it about, even if the rain comes, they're in a good position. 67 for 1. Dipti Sharma bowling to Tammy Beaumont, looking for the gap on the leg side, but Harmanpreet Kaur with a 7 on her back crouches down in the baseball cap to pick up.
Yeah, India really need to find ways of picking up wickets here. Trying to just create a bit of pressure.
In comes Sharma, bowling to Beaumont, who will work the ball down the ground for 1 more. Keep the strike, she's on to 35. 68 for 1 after 11. The DLS par score at this point for England would be 34, so at 68 for 1 they are well in excess of that. I did some maths just now, thought I would. I'm working out, I didn't, because Julian Goswami has played 187 games including today and has bowled in that time well over 9,000 deliveries in ODIs. Okay, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, and I was wondering, because I would figure that Mitali Raj probably would have fielded at mid-off for most of those, right? because we know they played together. This was the facts Phil gave us, that they played together every time Julan Goswami plays, Mithali Raj has played. I wondered how far Mithali Raj has walked in as Goswami has been coming into bowl.
Did you figure it out?
I did.
Wow.
Here comes Hector Bisht as Beaumont on strike, comes out the track in the air, just clears the fielder at mid-off. It was aerial, it was a little bit risky, but it was struck very well. And it's 4 more runs, 72 for 1.
Mithali Raj just 5 yards off that ring for her, 5 yards in, and it's just gone up and over her head. Again, Tammy Beaumont taking on the field, taking a risk, and it's paid off for her. No spin from Hector Bisht. She's bowling very round arm today, so Tammy Beaumont knows what she can and can't get away with.
Fielders in the deep are at deep backward square, deep mid wicket and long on. So Beaumont, if she does want to go that way, the offside, as boundary is there to be scored, comes down the track in the air but on the bounce as far as Bisht, and Mithali Raj dives and picks up 72 for 1. And so I estimated, well, I counted how many steps she walked in. It was 6 every time that Goswami bowls. In comes Hector Bisht bowling to Beaumont, who defends, and there's no run. And if you time that 6 times the 9,000 deliveries, you get about 54,000. And approximately 10,000 steps is 8 kilometres. So in that time, she's walked about 44 kilometres, which is the same as a marathon.
Just as Julian Goswami's running into bowl.
Yeah.
Extraordinary maths.
Here comes Bisht to bowl to Beaumont, gets in a tangle trying to play the sweep, hits the body, but there's no harm done. A marathon, just walking in.
That's impressive. There's no wonder that, like, cricketers are slim.
I mean, that is over 22 years. So it's quite a slow marathon. It's about what I'd do it in, I think. 72 for 1 as Beaumont comes forward and defends.
Yeah, but that's just for one bowler. She's done a marathon for every bowler in the team.
Yeah, good point. In comes Bisht again. Wind picking up a little bit at Bristol as Beaumont gives herself some space, punches into the offside, and a dot ball to finish the over. So Beaumont's on 39, England 72 for 1 after 12. Their target is 202, and India need to do something to change the momentum here, because at this stage it's all looking a little bit easy for England.
It is, and that's what we feared, didn't we, at the halfway stage? Only 200 on the board for India. We said that it'll be a little too easy for England, and they've got such an aggressive top order, top and middle order, to be completely honest. They're such a talented side. They lose a couple of quick wickets, they still have the likes of Siver, Jones and Dunkley to come in, and it's quite a scary batting lineup that England have.
Yeah, it just keeps on coming, and more in just a moment on that, because I'm interested in this idea of the anchor role as Dipti Sharma comes into bowl to Knight, who's beaten. That's a good ball. Lunging forward, groping outside the off stump is the England skipper. Goes through to the gloves of the keeper, because we spoke about how Poonam Raut and Mithali Raj both occupied that anchor role, how that caused India problems because nobody would then have the freedom to go on at the other end. England don't really have anyone that plays that anchor role. Here comes Dipti Sharma again, round arm action, worked to the leg side, and there is no run.
I suppose what England have the ability to do, which India don't, is play the cricket game from the situation that they're in. So Heather Knight, if she needs to be an anchor, she'll be an anchor, but then she can accelerate.
Knight waits with the slip crouching, looks for the single in the leg side, but Harmanpreet's there to pick up at mid-wicket.
You've got Nat Siver that's coming in after Heather Knight at number 4, who is one of the most powerful all-rounders in the world, but she can still play herself in, and you know, she might get 50 off 80 balls, but then she'll get 100 off 100 balls.
Dipti moving into bowl, whack down the ground by Knight. She'll pick up one more. 14 for her. England 73 for 1.
And I think England are a lot more adaptable in their batting lineup than India seem to be. They're aggressive at the top, they're slow in the middle, and everyone else is under pressure underneath them, whereas England don't have that.
There's more gears and it's less. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It is Dipti Sharma bowling to Beaumont, who thinks about playing an aggressive sweep shot but decides against it. Cries of bowler. That's where they want the ball thrown, but Knight's back in good time. And the score remains at 73 for 1. This almost the end of the 13th over. 1 ball left of it. We're seeing spin from both ends at the moment as Dipti Sharma comes in and bowls to Beaumont, tucking the ball off the pads, pushing hard for the first. We'll get there. So Beaumont, she has done 3 overs of the last 4, keeps the strike, and England 74 for 1. The clouds just moving in the wind, I think, has picked up a touch. It's not quite as bright as it was an hour ago, but still plenty of supporters out there in t-shirts and certainly no umbrellas. It's not the winter jackets on those grey seats all around the ground. Phil?
Yeah, 50 partnership for Knight and Beaumont, and it's come off 50 balls. Something else we haven't really mentioned about Tammy Beaumont, or we did mention that she came back into the side early on in the Mark Robinson era. Today's her 52nd consecutive ODI appearance for England. Only Charlotte Edwards holds a record with 57.
Ooh, here is Ekta Bish bowling to Beaumont, paddles it down towards fine leg, and there's a chase on, which is going to be a successful one as Dipti Sharma throws in well at the non-striker's end. England get through for 2. Beaumont's on to 42, 76 for 1. That's going some, isn't it?
That is, and that really shows that Tammy Beaumont's career has been split into 2 halves. The pre-Mark Robinson and the post-Mark Robinson is what we're going to call it from now on.
And that was 2016, so it's been a long run as in comes Ekta Bish. Forward in defence is Beaumont. And yeah, you look at the success that she's had in that time. Number 1 in the world, World Cup winner. What she hasn't got, what England haven't got for a long time, is an Ashes win.
That's what they'll be dying for over in Australia in January, February. They've definitely got the capability of beating Australia. It's just who can stick in that test match.
Bish round the wicket to Beaumont, nudging the ball into the leg side past Harmanpreet Kaur at mid-wicket. Smriti Mandana runs in from the deep and picks up.
Yeah, those Tammy Beaumont figures again. Before Mark Robinson took over and after he took over. Before, she'd had a batting average of 17.25, a strike rate of 42. Since he came and went, average of 52, a strike rate of 78.
That is remarkable. It's almost 2 different players.
It is. She was never settled before Mark Robinson came in, though. She batted from 1 down to 11. I think at ODI debut she batted at number 10.
Knight on strike. Goswami at slip. Well, that's well played by the England captain, and Goswami's got a chase on. I think she will haul it in, or certainly one of her and Dipti Sharma will. Sharma throws in with 1 run taken. 79 for 1.
It's such an easy shot, the paddle shot, for these England girls to play. You know, when Mark Robinson was involved, there was a rule: if there's no 45 in play, you paddle. You try and manipulate the field. We can see Heather Knight just paddled that first ball, slips come out, gone straight to 45, and she's manipulated the field.
Ekta Bish to bowl to Knight, who's forward in defence. And that is the end of the over, is it? Or have we got 1 more ball? We've got 1 more ball. At 45, that is short fine leg and old money.
Yes, sorry.
No, not at all. I just, for those that might be wondering, fielders in the deep backward square, long off, long on, and deep mid-wicket as Ekta Bish bowls to Heather Knight, happy to punch the ball down the ground for 1, and she'll keep the strike at the start of the next over. 80 for 1, 14 overs gone, and England very, very comfortable here at Bristol.
They are indeed. They've got off to a belting start. As I've just turned around, and Dan Norcross, he's just sat on the floor.
He is, yeah, he sat on the floor with a big tub of cupcakes in front of him.
It's nearly empty, that tub of cupcakes now. We've scoffed them all.
I know, they're lovely.
How
many did you have? I had 2.
I've had 2 too.
Okay, good. I thought I didn't want to be greedy.
Well, there's always the ice cream van.
Oh yeah, good point. after this thing?
Yeah, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah, lovely.
Are you going for the double ender again?
Yeah, I will. It's the flake on top and the flake inside.
Yeah.
It's the way to go, it really. And you're going to go for the double 2 ice creams?
Don't think so. I've had 2 cakes today.
But you're an athlete. You can get away with these things.
That means I can't get away with these things.
Well, this is where we disagree. Here comes Dipti Sharma, start of a new over, as Knight on strike is defending. And England can do this. They can put away the bad balls. They can run the singles, and then otherwise anything straight they can block. It's no pressure cricket at the moment for them. Field up inside the circle in the offside as Knight comes forward, will pick up 1 down the ground past the diving Dipti Sharma. Knight moves on to 18, and England 81 for 1.
Yeah, we got a sense of frustration when we were watching India bat. And I have that same sense of frustration watching them bowl because it's just too easy for England at the minute. They need to try and find ways of getting a few dots, and yes, it's hard when you've got set batters like Beaumont. She's 43 not out after 40 deliveries. You know, you have to have your field spread, but they just need to try and squeeze her a little bit more, put a bit more pressure on her.
Deepti into bowl to Beaumont. Oh, in the air, but it dropped short of Harmanpreet at mid-wicket. It was a bottom hand whip that didn't quite go where Beaumont wanted it. Gets a little bit lucky.
I was just watching Harmanpreet there thinking, what a gem. She is such a nice girl.
Could you play with her
Yeah.
in the Kia Super League? Deepti Sharma again over the wicket, bowling to Beaumont. Deep in the crease, will get one into the leg side. 82 for 1.
And she's signed for the Manchester Originals for the 100, so I'm looking forward to having her in my team. I think she'll be looking forward to having Sophie Eccleston on her team, so Soph can't get her out anymore.
Yes, apart from in the nets. Just to ruin the gob.
She'll make me bowl at her, don't worry.
Deepti Sharma coming in once more. Knight forward, defends into the offside. Let me just quickly tell you what's happening around the T20 Blast this afternoon. Leicestershire against Worcestershire. Coming into the end of Leicestershire's innings, they're 154 for 7 in that game at Worcester. Radlick, Glamorgan are 164 for 6 in the final over of that innings. And as Deepti Sharma comes in to conclude the over, a reverse sweep played by Heather Knight. She's frustrated because finds the fielder at backward point. Had it been either side by a yard, it would have raced away to the boundary. End of the over, 15 gone, and just finally 6.1 overs have been bowled between Surrey and Sussex. At Hove, 53 for 1 is the score, but that match delayed because of rain and play due to restart at 4 p.m. local time. The players are getting some drinks. Because the players are getting some drinks, this is our opportunity to speak to Snehal Pradhan, who joins us live from Pune and has been watching proceedings. Snehal, 82 for 1. England well on top at the moment. What can India do to change the momentum?
Well, like Alex said, get a few dot balls in a row. Whenever Indian bowlers seem to be exerting a little bit of pressure, seem to be getting a little bit of the bowling in good areas, they seem to just slip in the odd boundary ball in the over, and that's been dealt with. That's been the opportunity has been taken. The England batters haven't really found the fielders when they've hit shots. They've dropped and run, and therefore brought the field in. So I think India need to just go back to the basics and get dot balls in as much as possible, even if it means taking a risk, bringing the field in, and just forcing the batters to either go over the top or play out a maiden.
No spin really on this surface. Is that causing problems for India's attack in terms of what they can do as a threat?
It is, and what's also causing problems is that besides Julian Goswami, none of the other seamers have gotten a really long spell. We've seen a little bit of a reactionary move, and this we see quite often with Mithali Raj. She trusts her spinners a little more than she trusts her seamers. So for example, Ekta Bisht bowled I think a couple of boundary balls in that first over. Ekta Bisht gets another over and she gets into her rhythm, but a Pooja Vastrakar or a Shikha Pandey who bowls a boundary ball is pretty much almost immediately taken out of the attack. So it's been a feature almost of Mithali Raj's captaincy even in domestic cricket. She does trust her left arm spinners in particular a lot more than the seamers, and that doesn't give the Indian seamers the opportunity to really get to know these conditions, because we are of course looking at this series with a very long term point of view, or India should be.
Is that a problem for India's seam attack if they sense one mistake could see them pulled out of the attack?
It is, and it doesn't help that some of the better seamers in India's side get slightly arbitrarily dropped. So it's a confidence thing. As a bowler, you want to feel that you have the option, or you have the ability to fail, because then that really allows your body to relax and you can get into your action better. If you're slightly thinking about what the next ball is going to bring and what the next boundary is it going to pull you out of the attack, then your body just tenses up, and as Alex will know, you can't bowl a good ball with a tense body. It's an issue, and I think I'm very curious therefore to always just observe the T20 leg of any series and see whether the seamers get a little more rope in under the captaincy of Harmanpreet Kaur.
It's suddenly looking a little bit brighter here, I'm pleased to say. Snehal, thank you very much for the time being. I'm getting out the way. Daniel Norcross will be joining us after a couple of words from Alex.
Yeah, the sun has come out. It does look quite dark to our left-hand side, but we're going to ignore that because right now the sun is shining. And we've got Tammy Beaumont on strike. She's 44 not out after 42 balls and looking very, very comfortable at the crease.
Isn't she just? We need 5 more overs to get a full game in. 15 overs having been bowled already in this particular innings. You need 20 in the second innings to constitute a game. Start of a new over, and the behatted Bisht is not boshed on this occasion by Tammy Beaumont, who has been using her feet to get to the pitch of the ball, and it's notable to me as Bisht prepares to come in after that dot ball. It's a flat round arm, slightly short, goes back into a crease, pushes into the offside, there's no run. I saw Hector Bisht at Wormsey 7 years ago, and it wasn't that no one could lay a bat on her. Everyone could lay a bat on her, but they couldn't take her down. She's in again. The Beaumont drives forcefully, using her feet up to long off for a single. Moves to 45, 83 for one. And in those 7 years, I suppose professionalism and what have you, suddenly you see batters using their feet, putting real power on the ball. It's a different world, women's cricket these days. As Bisht is in again round the wicket, but Knight just defends it to the offside, can't beat cover, and there's no run.
I suppose left arm spin was quite rare as well a few years ago, and then now everyone breeds left arm spinners.
There's a glut of them.
There's loads of us.
Yeah, you were part of the zeitgeist. As Bisht is in, bowls her. Heather Knight's got to go, used her feet, and then I think that ball's turned past the outside edge and clipped the stumps, and England lose their second wicket. A good bit of bowling from Bisht. Knight trying to copy Beaumont and get down to the pitch of the ball. This occasion she was just undone by a good bit of bowling. That has just beaten the outside edge. It's straightened beautifully, it's clipped the off stump, and she is delighted. England lose their captain, they're 83 for 2.
And that's the beauty of being a left arm spinner. Hector Bisht hasn't turned a single delivery all day. She's been firing it into the pads. She's just taken the pace off that one, and it's gripped in the surface and beaten the outside edge of Heather Knight. And it was the right thing to use her feet to try and get the single down the ground to get Beaumont back on strike, but a well bowled delivery from Hector Bisht.
A rare failure for England's captain in the last, well, certainly this season. It's been a glut of runs for Heather Knight. Alex Hardy's going to leave us. Isabel Westbury's going to come in, as is Nat Siver, who is now making her way to the wicket. The loss of that wicket does make a moderate difference to Duckworth Lewis. I'm just taking a look down on my sheet here. If England had lost 2 wickets when the 20 overs have been bowled, Duckworth Lewis par would be 66. They're 83 at the moment, so they're fine. If they lose another couple though, then that goes up to 97 that England would need to be on after 20 overs, which is another 14 runs away as Isabel Westbury returns.
It's a very Jeffrey Boycott assessment, isn't it? Add 2 wickets to the total.
Add 2. That and you can't score runs in the pavilion. So Nat Siver, 19 runs away from getting her 2000th run, one day internationals. Good strike rate, 97. Strike rate of 97 with an average not far off 40. Just tells you what a powerful presence she is in England's middle order.
And you'd imagine that strike rate in the last 5 years probably far exceeds that as well.
I would imagine.
Difficult to check, I think.
Well, we know a man who can. As Bisht is in to complete the over, and Siver plays a lovely delicate late dab past the outstretched hand of first slip and gets off the mark straight away with a single. Played fine through a sort of second, third slip region, but England 84 for 2, having lost the wicket of Heather Knight for 18, bowled by Hector Bisht in that over. 84 for 2 from 16.
Tammy Beaumont now on 45. That's her highest score against India, and this is her 18th innings against them.
That must be a slightly curious anomaly.
Very curious anomaly, yeah. Averages just before today, averages 20.2 against India.
Wow. So her average, I suppose her average against Pakistan will be huge, because that's when she went on that huge run spree. But yes, India. People have sort of bogey teams, don't they?
Yeah, it's funny how that works. I think I was looking at the stats for her name escapes me now. For Harmanpreet Kaur against England since 2017 World Cup, averages 8.
Really? Why is that, I wonder? It's strange, isn't it? Dipti Sharma starts a new over, and Siva blocks, going deep in her crease, and just pushes into the onside, and there is no run. Beaumont going well, 45 from 45. She has been terrific since she returned to the England team. 2016, I want to say that was, under Mark Robinson.
She really does have a sort of two phases to her career. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, so I mean, like, we were talking about this earlier. She wasn't really settled in any one position, was she? Sharma is in again, short and played away nicely, but can't beat the fielder backward point. Again, no run.
Did you talk about go through her numbers before 2014? So
Well, yeah, Phil
yeah,
remarked on the extraordinary disparity between before and after the event. As Sharma is in, that's short, worked away, paddled away, or even shovelled, if you like, by Siva down to the deep backward square leg. Won't quite make the boundary, but they will come back for a couple of runs as Shikha Pandey moves to her right, the deep backward square, 86 for 2. Siva with that moves to 3. We're counting down the balls until 20 overs have been bowled. That's the key moment.
we're fine. There's not going to be rain. Stop commenting on it. I feel as though it's a non-event now.
Do you?
Yes.
Well,
My fingers tell me so.
yeah. Your fingers have been very strong on this matter today. Dipped in again. That's tossed up slightly and driven firmly, perhaps too firmly by Siva. She can't beat mid-on. There is no run. Beaumont's hit 7 centuries in her career. The England record is 9, is that correct? It is 9 by Charlotte Edwards. As in comes Dipti Sharma, and that's defended again from the crease back at the wicket. There's no run. Don't forget that 2 points are on offer for this match. It's a multi-game, multi-point series. 4 points for winning the test match. That was drawn, so each side picked up 2. And then 2 points for each of the white ball games. So you need to get to 8, I think it is, to guarantee that you don't lose. Next ball's pushed up to mid-wicket and there's no run. Right. I have some news.
Some breaking news.
I have some breaking news. It's been strictly embargoed until 4 o'clock. I presume it's therefore 4 o'clock.
It's 4:02.
It's 4:02. End of the over, 86 for 2. Official statement. Following a PCR test administered on Friday the 25th of June at the Ageas Bowl, Southampton, the England and Wales Cricket Board can confirm that ICC match referee Phil Whittercase has tested positive for COVID-19. Whittercase, who's officiating during the 3-match Vitality IT20 series between England and Sri Lanka, is well and is asymptomatic. I'll come back to that after this ball. As Hector Bisht prepares to continue her spell with her hat on, and Beaumont goes back into her crease and punches back past the bowler up towards long on for a single, 87 for 2. Whittercase will now observe a period of 10 days of isolation from the 25th of June in accordance with the UK government's protocol on quarantine. 7 other members from the match officials and anti-corruption unit teams were deemed close contacts, including 5 members due to officiate at the first Royal London ODI on Tuesday 29th of June at the Emirates in Durham. Those impacted will have to isolate for 10 days until the 7th of July. As Bisht is in, and Siva defends on the front foot back to the bowler. There's no run. No members of the 2 teams who are impacted. Alternative arrangements will be put in place to ensure Tuesday's ODI goes ahead as planned. Well, that seems to me to be that's the first positive case I can think of as Bisht is in. Short, pulled high in the air. Is that going to land safely? It does. Not only does it land safely, it skips on and goes over the boundary for 4. There's excellent movement from Siva. She went right back into her crease. She picked the length instantly and then has muscled that over mid-wicket. It wasn't a pretty shot or an elegant shot, but it was a powerful shot and brings England and herself a boundary. 91 for 2 in the 18th over. So all of last year, bubbles were not breached. As Bisht is in, and Siva defends on the front foot, back to the bowler, no run. I think that's the first official.
I think so, and also it throws up an interesting question. We saw Sue Redfern make her the first woman to officiate in a men's international match in England.
Bisht in once more. Down the wicket comes Siva, and she's muscled that again for 4 with a big bottom hand. Got right to the pitch of the ball, and has just He shovelled that, but its placement was perfect. It was just to the right of the bowler, to the left of mid-on, and it's rolled up to the boundary for 4. 95 for 2, Siva to double figures.
I wonder, and so she was there as the 4th umpire, I think, at the last T20 of the England men versus Sri Lanka series. I wonder if she might be officiating at Durham.
Forward in defence comes Siva, just guides this down to backward point. There's no run. That's a very good point.
I mean, wiping out 7 officials does seem like quite a good contingent in front of you.
95 for 2, 18 overs have been bowled. Siva 11, Beaumont 46. You make a strong point. So history could be about to be made.
It could be.
Well.
Not that I feel I was about to say thanks to COVID, but I don't think that's the right
I don't
expression.
think that's quite the right expression, no.
But I think you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. As a result of.
I think that's
Yes.
right. Oh, interesting to see. An opportunity, certainly. Officiating, of course, in this match out there on the field at square leg. As
Yes.
England are going about this rather well. And what's exciting from an England perspective is that the wickets haven't really stemmed that momentum, the flow of runs. They've carried on, kept going, haven't let it deter them.
Start of a new over. First ball's pushed defence back to the Dipti Sharma by Beaumont, and there is no run. There hasn't, has it? England have just continued with the same aggressive approach, an approach that you were calling for India to employ.
Yeah.
England going along at well over 5 and over at the moment. Dipti's in again. That's swept firmly, nicely, fine enough. Is it to beat the fielder? It's running away to the boundary despite the dive. There will be 4 more to Beaumont, who with that moves to 50. She raises her bat, she punches gloves with Nat Siva. Yet another international half-century for Tammy Beaumont. The crowd cheering, young boys, young girls, people on their feet. They don't think it's all over, there's a way to go yet, but England are 99 for 2 and they're going very well indeed. That's the 20th time, is that right, that Tammy Beaumont has reached 50? On 7 occasions converted into 100. As Sharma is in again, down the wicket comes Beaumont, defends back up the wicket. There's a little flourish which defends, flings the bat over her left shoulder.
This is what I've enjoyed the most about Beaumont's innings, is her proactiveness with her feet in playing defensive strokes as well.
Absolutely. The use of the feet has been great. It's a perilous thing to do, as we saw in the case of Heather Knight, but she's got to the pitch the ball more often than not. Another floated up delivery is worked into the onside, brings up the England 100 with that single as Beaumont turns it to square leg. 100 for 2 at the end of the 19th over. Siva has 11, Beaumont 51. Phil Long.
Oh no, there's another ball to go. Two balls to go in this over.
There are,
Up in the
I beg
100. Yeah, Tammy Beaumont just cementing her place, as we mentioned earlier, at the top of the women's ODI batting rankings.
Oh yes. She'll only be going further away with this innings. Siva's back on strike. There are 2 balls left in the over. There was a sudden change of field, but that was entirely different as Siva looks to advance and then misses a ball that skids on off the pitch and into the gloves of Tanya Bhatia. There's no run.
India brought up their 100 in the 32nd over.
And England's have got theirs in the 19th. That is the difference in approach, isn't it? I mean, you've got to give credit to England's bowlers as well, but as Dipti Sharma is in, Siva just tucks us into the onside. It was on her pads, they come through for a quick single. There's a bit of pigeon action at roughly the same time as the ball was reaching the fielder. End of the over for sure this time, 101 for 2. Siva has 12, Beaumont has 51. Siva will be on strike at the start of the 20th over. And although the wind has picked up, the sky is grey, the lights are on. I think we can trust in Isabel Westbury's fingers that we are going to get 20 overs in.
I think my toes starting to feel it now as well. So we're on solid ground there.
You've got very pointy shoes. When you have feet that go into pointy shoes, do they sort of squeeze a bit?
No, because I think you try and have them a bit bigger so that the pointy bit doesn't come and
so all of that
interrupt
there is toeless.
It's space. So if you were to stab me with your pair of stilettos.
Oh right,
then
that would be the wrong place to do it.
Absolutely.
But I suppose you can also keep things in there like mints or
I wouldn't advise it.
Hanky.
I mean, I'd give those mints perhaps to my mortal enemy, but if they'd been in my shoes.
Do you have a mortal enemy?
Oh, well, that would be telling now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Don't give away such secrets. I do have a black book, maybe.
I think it's good for everyone to have a mortal enemy.
I want to know who yours is now.
I'm not on air. 101 for 2. Now, we're having a change of bowler here. There's a bit of a conflab going on. And conflabs can take quite a while with this team. What are we seeing?
We're seeing Harmanpreet.
We're seeing Harmanpreet Kaur
I
bowl.
think we are.
Now, is she going to be bowling with a cap on as well? It looks like she is. So it's another red card offence, according to Alex Hartley.
I think bowling on caps on absolutely fine,
I agree.
especially as a woman with long hair. It's a really simple solution.
But what about caps with sunglasses on the cap, though?
All for it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Here is Harmanpreet Kaur, and back into crease goes Sivan, punches to short mid-on, there's no run.
I mean, taking your cap on and off is the main disruptor to one's hair. Yes.
Yeah.
Struggling for the word there.
It isn't really an issue that's ever really bothered me,
No.
owing to not having much in the way of hair. Harmanpreet's in, that's swept in the air, should be taken and is dropped. That short fine leg, dear oh dear oh dear. She just got into a terrible tangle there. And oh my word, it was a top-edged sweep and it kept going backwards and backwards. It was Ekta-bished. And she just did not judge that catch at all. She didn't start going backwards quickly enough, and then she was having to take it over her right shoulder, which made it harder than it should have been. She was still there. She got 2 hands to it, and it spilled out. India, if they're going to get back into this game, they need to take all the chances they can get. Siva picks up a single, 102 for 2.
I feel compelled to say that it's the kind of catch that we've seen Alex Hartley take of recent.
Yes. Yes. Harmanpreet's in again, and Beaumont cuts nicely, but out to the sweeper on the offside. Get just the one, 103 for 2.
Yeah, like Izzy, I looked round to see why Alex wasn't telling us she would have caught it. But I presume somewhere around the ground on her ice cream run, she did tell anyone she could.
Has she gone off for an ice cream, has she? Didn't ask us if you want one. Harmanpreet's in, punched to the onside to just to the right a bit on this. There's a great noise you made there.
Well, now that the sun's come out,
grumble.
and you can see the ice cream van from our commentary position, I kind of fancy one.
Yeah, I think I do now. Harmanpreet in again, swept nicely, fine, but Bisht has moved slightly to her right and is able to cut off a boundary that would otherwise have ensued. England's sweeping has been good today. We've seen a number of boundaries from the sweep shot, trying to impart some power onto what is a predominantly slow attack that India have got. Here comes Harmanpreet to complete the over, the 20th. Back into crease goes Siva, pushes to mid-on. There is no run, we have 20 overs, we will have a result, come what may. And at the end of that over, England 103 for 2. Duckworth-Lewis says that at this stage they should be on 66. They're 37 runs ahead of that. They're in the driving streak. India need wickets, and they passed up the opportunity for one just now. Thoughts from Isabel Westbury, and then it will be Emily Windsor.
Very brilliant stuff from Tammy Beaumont. She's been going from strength to strength in this format. I mean, there might be questions over who her partner is at the top of the order, but certainly none over her since the start of 2019. Almost 1,500 runs across all international formats. Only Elisa Healy, who we know is such a explosive batter, has scored more runs since. And now she's back at the top of the rankings for the ODI batters, and rightly so. She's looked proactive in attack and defence. She's quite a fun sight to watch as well, Emily.
Yeah, she certainly is. What an innings she's done so far, and I think she's going to be looking to build on this, be there at the end, see her team home. As Starker comes into the attack from the pavilion end, bowls to Tammy Beaumont, forward in defence, no run. Here in the effects mark, no run there. That was a shout.
Yeah, solid shout that one, wasn't it? Don't think we had any miscommunication there.
And I also don't think Siva had moved too much, expecting to be a run, but good intent. That's just good concentration, doesn't it? Every ball. She's been out there a long time now. 20 overs.
Just the one over then from Vastrika so far. 13 runs off it already.
Vastrika in again to Beaumont. She bowls and forward in defence again. Didn't hear the shout of no run this time. 103 for 2 England. For potentially see the clouds building up a little bit around the ground, starting to look a little bit
not
more
you
grey.
too. Honestly, it's absolutely fine. There's sun out. These are good conditions. A bit of breeze in the air. No rain. We'll be absolutely fine. Next topic.
What does the sun look like, Isabel? I can't. Your version of the sun.
It was bad
very
as
interesting.
Daniel Norcross, honestly.
Straka in again to Beaumont. That's cut away. That's a lovely shot. Timing. Goswami's coming round. She cannot get there. 4 runs to Tammy Beaumont. Lovely shot. She moves to 56. 107 for 2.
She played it so late, didn't she? She just waited and waited and waited, then rocked onto her back foot and then almost stroked it backward a point, tempting Goswami sitting there on the boundary, long legs striding round from quite a wide third man on the boundary, in fact. Just couldn't get there.
This is where I wish there was cameras on you there, because you played that shot exactly how Tammy did, sat next to me, demoing a good couple of times. It was like I was watching a replay.
I play some wonderful shadow batting shots. The failure that I had, as I wasn't quite able to convert it in the middle.
With Straka into Beaumont again, this time pulled away, pulled hard. But there is a girl out there. 108 for 2.
I'm definitely one of those people that if you've got an umbrella as you walk along, you start, showing your on drive to anybody that cares. Or if I've got a ruler, I used to at school, a ruler, you used to just start showing them the shots you've got. I was honestly, our shadow batting sort of rankings would be right up there.
100 not out, of course.
Yeah,
And raise
obviously.
the bat. Do you raise the ruler?
Oh, only in those little moments when no one's watching, hey?
The Straka into Siva this time. Turned away into the onside. Nice shot. Sheer rotate the strike, come through for a single. Sheer move to 40. 109 for 2. That's all Siva's got to do here, isn't it? Just support Tammy when she's batting as well as she is at the moment.
My favourite kind of shadow batters are the ones that are playing in the middle and then they'll perform one shot in actual real life against a bowler and then they'll play a completely different one in this sort of replay as to, this is the one I was supposed to do.
Yeah, that's the way it's meant to be. As the Straka in again, that's a good delivery, Yorker. Tammy digs that out well. And that's the end of the over. 21 overs gone, 109 for 2, England.
Quite the disparity in approach here between the two sides. We saw it from England in a test as well. They really started quickly. We said, I'm trying to avoid the word intent because it's such an easy one to use to describe the two different approaches to the batting teams. But it's interesting. It feels as though this is the new era under Heather Knight and Lisa Kiteley. I mean, Lisa Kiteley's been in position now for, a year and a half, but a lot of that lost to COVID. And then even if you think about the T20 World Cup in which England crashed out, I say, in the semi-finals, but that was because their match against India was washed out, and India, by virtue of being higher in the table with more points, they went through onto the final. So they haven't really had an opportunity yet, England, to show what this new kind of leadership can do. And this is our first sighting, I feel.
In comes Court to Siva. That's pushed up to mid-on. Nice and controlled. She'll pick up a single. She'll move to 15, 110 for 2. And yeah, I think it's really exciting, isn't it? And the depth of the women's game with all these new regional competitions. Is the women's game in this country is going to go from strength to strength as competition for places heats up. As in comes Court to Beaumont, and that's driven again out to the cover sweeper that she wants 2 there. She should get 2 as the fielder is right out on the boundary rope. She does quite comfortably. Sheer move to 59, 112 for 2. Is there anyone, Isabel, that you think sort of in the wings or young players that you've seen that in years to come?
Well, Emma Lamb's performing at the moment on the domestic circuit, both with bat and with ball, isn't she? I think Izzy Wong as a fast bowler is quite a fun one to watch.
Core to Beaumont, this time turned into the onside for a single. Looking easy out there for Tammy at the moment. She moves to 60, 113 for 2, England. Yeah, Izzy Wong, we played against her yesterday and she's certainly a fiery character.
And young as well. Lots ahead of her. She needs to be patient, really.
She's got a lot of pace as well. I actually think she's one of the quickest women's bowlers I've faced as Core bowls, and that's pushed back to her. There'll be no run. And she's not afraid to bowl that bouncer, to be aggressive, and that's what you want to see from the young fast bowlers now. As Core from the Ashley Down Road end into Siva bowls, and that's cut away out to the cover sweeper. She's hit that hard, will just be a single. She'll move to 16, 114 for 2.
And a few other names that have been around, I guess, the England setup, Alice Davison-Richards, Bryony Smith as well. Both explosive hitters with the bat, but can also form an innings.
Caught in to Beaumont, bowls, and she comes down the pitch but can only find mid-wicket, so no run. And that's the end of the over. 22 overs gone, 114 for 2.
So I'll let Alex Hartley come in now, but I think in terms of the Rachel Hayhoe Flintford Trophy, so the domestic 50 over stuff, the number of centuries that we're seeing has just risen exponentially over the years. Like, we're seeing some really good composed innings from all sorts of different batters outside of the England setup as well. So I think, signs are good for England. Of course, the real test will be, I think, against Australia come the winter.
Yeah, definitely is. And we haven't mentioned Georgia Adams there, who at the Southern Vipers had a fantastic season last year, was the leading run scorer, scored a lot of runs in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. As the Starker still from the pavilion end into Siva bowls, that's pulled away. They'll only find a deep square leg boundary, hit hard though by Siva. She'll move to 17, 114 for 2. And when Alex joins us, it'll be interesting her thoughts. We mentioned Emma Lamb, and she's got Alex had the delights of a good day out with her yesterday. She seems to be in good form. Do you think in the future we could see her in England colours?
Yeah, I don't see why not. She's in fantastic form, with the ball and with the bat.
In comes the Starker to Beaumont, driven hard, well fielded, picked up with your left hand. That's exceptional fielding there. That was gonna be a 4, but she's plucked that out. Very well fielded there from extra cover. Deepti Sharma, that is there, the left-hander.
Diving away to her left-hand side, a brilliant piece of fielding. It's all about those 1%ers in white ball cricket, and that most definitely has saved the 4 there for India.
Straka back at the top of her mark. In to Tammy Beaumont. Bowls again, and that's forward in defence this time. There'll be no run. Any others on sort of players that you've played that in the future you think you're likely to see in England colours?
It's really hard, isn't it? Because we don't often come up against that many people. When you do, it's in the 50 over competition, it's once a year, so you sort of forget them. But from my team, most definitely Emma Lamb. She's scoring, she's got 3 hundreds already this year, 2 T20 hundreds and 1 50 over 100, and she's got 4 for yesterday with the ball and took a screaming catch.
In comes the Starker to Beaumont, and that's played back down the pitch. Was it as good as your catch? Whose was better?
I mean, hers went straight to her. Mine was definitely better. But yeah, she's a brilliant player, and looking at this England side and what they're missing, it is an off spinner. But they've got the likes of Maddie Villiers, who is obviously a contracted player, plays for the Sunrisers, so she's had the opportunity to go back and play a bit of domestic cricket.
I'm going to throw Charlie Dean in there as well as an off spinner. Yesterday she got a fantastic 5 for at Edgbaston, and she's bowling very well at the moment. Turns the ball as Vistarka bowls to Beaumont, forward in defence, no run. There's a lot of good talent out there, isn't there?
Yeah, and what is exciting is the fact that we can have these conversations now, because for so many years all we spoke about was the England squad, and that was it. That's the only talent we had in England. But now we're playing regular cricket, we've got regular training, everybody's getting better, and it's a shame we've only just become professionals, really, because if we could have done it a few years previous, how good English domestic cricket could be. But we're getting there, we are most definitely getting there, and we're better than we were last year.
Straka in again to Tammy Beaumont, and she bowls, and that's forward in defence. 115 for 4. That was a good over this time from Vistarka, and that's 23 overs gone. Tammy Beaumont 60 not out, and Natalie Siver at the other end on 17. The other thing that I think's made a difference, and your thoughts on this, just playing on good pitches week in, week out, and how that's improved games. It's allowed batters to go and score hundreds regularly. It's allowed bowlers to bowl to plans, because you don't have to worry about this pitch doing this and that. Do you think that's had a big impact?
Oh, Emily, don't you get me started on pitches, because I am a big advocate for women need to play on better pitches. We see often in the press, shorten the wicket, make it shorter. Put us on better pitches, because when we play on good wickets, we get a good standard of cricket.
In comes Kaur to Siva, and that's turned away down to fine leg. They think about a single, but quick to the ball there, Ekta Bish, and no run. 115 for 2. India just tying up England here a little bit. A few dot balls, but they won't be panicking. Just chasing 202 here at Bristol. There's core bowls again, and that's driven through the mid-wicket boundary. That's 4 runs, hit hard. Fantastic shot by Natalie Siver, full toss and punished.
Yeah, not quite what Harmanpreet Kaur was intending. She's a very good bowler, likes to mix up her pace, bowl back over length and then full. Just getting that one wrong, trying to bowl it a little bit quicker than the previous delivery, and Nat Siver straight onto the full toss and flicked it through mid-wicket.
119 for 2, Siver moves to 21. There's Kaur in this time to Siver. She bowls, and that's pushed back into mid-wicket. They come through for a quick single. That's good batting from Siver because she's manipulated the field there well. Fielder moves straighter and then she's turned it for a single.
Yeah, that 4 from Natalie Siver brought up 2,000 ODI runs for her. She's the 8th English batswoman to reach that mark.
Clap from the commentary box there from Alex. 120 for 2, England. As Kaur bowls, finds mid-wicket, but they come through for a quick single and a foot to stop the ball there at mid-wicket. She wasn't getting down there. 121 for 2.
Lazy fielding that, very lazy from Shikha Pandey.
But after Sam Curran's run out the other day, the foot's got to be used at some point in cricket, doesn't it? In comes Kaur to Siver. She's gone back and played it back to her. Yeah, there's got to be a place for using your foot. We always, when you coach, they say don't use your foot. But then when you've got your England players doing that, you're not going to get the youngsters doing underarm flicks now, are you?
There's a difference, I reckon, kicking the ball to the stumps and fielding in the deep with your feet.
In comes Kaur again, worked nicely by Siver down the square leg boundary. Come through for a single. 122 for 2. Siver moves to 23. And that's the end of the 20. That's 24 overs gone, 26 to go. 202 the target for England, and they're just ticking away nicely.
Their current run rate is 5 runs per over, and their required is only 3. So they are cruising to victory. They're just making it look easy, aren't they? Showing India why they're world champs and why they, one of the best teams of white ball cricket in the world.
And I think the big thing, I know the England batsmen here have scored boundaries, they've punished the bad ball, but the most important thing, they've rotated the strike well. There hasn't been many dot balls, which we saw a lot of in the Indian innings.
Yeah, I think that's what England do very well. They very rarely have a big string of dot balls.
Straka's still got ball in hand from the pavilion end. Then she comes to Siver, bowls, driven hard to Deepti Sharma, extra cover, be no run.
Straka then's got cross seam delivery, so she's scrapped the seam up delivery, she's gone cross seam, see if she can get a little bit more control of her bowling.
Yeah, I think they've got to do something here, haven't they? If India need to get back in this game, they need a couple of wickets and a couple of wickets quickly. But as we talked about last time we were on air, Alex, the depth of this England batting, you need quite a few wickets to be in with a shout here at this stage. For Straka, and again to Siver, that's short and that's pulled away to the deep square, and they come through for a single. Just how cleanly the England players have hit it as well. When they hit the sweepers, they're hitting the sweepers hard. It's just been impressive so far.
Yeah, it's something that when I'm watching England bat, I'm thinking about how we can make our domestic team better at hitting the sweepers and just learning from this England side and how easy they make it look.
Straka in to Beaumont. That's full, that's driven, that's Deepti Sharma does well there, diving to her left. She cuts the ball off, but they come through for a quick single. Good running from England, 62. She moves on to now Tammy Beaumont, 124 for 2.
Another brilliant start from Sharma there, saving the boundary again. She gets a little clap from the captain, Mitali Raj.
Where would you be bowling to Tammy here, Alex? When she's in this form, how are you going to get her out? As Starker in again to Siver back down the pitch. There'll be no run.
She's a player, Tammy Beaumont, where you want to try and put a bit of pressure on her. So as a left arm spinner, I'm always trying to attack the stump. So rather than going off stump and then potentially bowling just outside off stump, I'd go more middle and leg. and try and fire the ball into middle stump and turn the ball away from the right-hander and hope that she makes the mistake. But she's the sort of player, if you have your boundary riders back, she'll take them on and you will get that catch.
Pastraka into Siver again, bowls, that's driven hard to mid-on, will be no run. Timing of the ball from Siver has been exceptional, and you heard Tammy there say shot Nat. She noticed that one. 1-2-4 for 2 England. The 2 wickets gone. Lauren Winfield Hill, Goswami was bowling, got the nick, and she went for 16. And Heather Knight was bowled by the left arm spinner Ekta Bish for 18. As Vistaka in again from this pavilion end to Natalie Siver, she bowls, and that's knocks cleverly into the offside. Was a good length delivery, and she somehow manoeuvred that to be able to rotate the strike and come through for a single. She moves to 24, 1-2-5 for 2.
That's what I mean, that England make it look so easy, don't they? Even if a bowler's bowling well, they can just knock it into the offside, take the single. They just play simple cricket and obviously hit the ball, the bad ball, for 4. But yeah, they've gone about this run chase very, very simply, very easily.
And it'll be interesting in the ODI as the ODI series go on. We know both teams like to chase, but should England get an opportunity to bat first, the type of total that you could see. And I'll leave you with Alex Hartley as Henry will join.
Yeah, honestly, England, if they bat first, they're a very dangerous side. If they build a platform in the power play and they can, if they're in this situation now, 25 overs in, 125 for 2, England are capable of scoring 290, 300, if not more. Bristol here as well is in that 2017 World Cup. We scored over 300 in South Africa, actually nearly chased it down.
I remember that. Belting pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah, belting game.
Midway point in the innings, then England 102 as a target. They are 125 for 2, with Siver on 25 and Beaumont on 62. And Shikhar Pandya is going to bowl from the far end of the ground, the Ashley Down Road end. With a good crowd in, still the floodlights shining, but still no rain, and that's the most important thing, because we had very serious conversations about whether we'd see anything today. Here comes Shikhar Pandya then. Bowling her 4th over. Siver with room tries to cut, but it goes through to the gloves of Bhatia standing up behind the stumps. We've had our ice cream.
We have. It was very good. You treated me to an ice cream today, so thank you.
That's okay. It was very nice. We went nuts, sauce, the works.
We did. Flake. I didn't go the double today though.
No, not the double today. I thought I'd show a bit of restraint.
2 cakes and an ice cream's plenty for the day.
Yeah, and the tagine.
Didn't eat it.
Here comes Shikhar Pandya to bowl to Nat Siver. Again, she's beaten outside the off stump. Good work again from Tanya Bhatia, who's really been sharp standing up to the reasonable pace of Shikhar Pandya. 1-2-5 for 2 still.
I thought I'd show a bit of restraint, and if I was going to get an ice cream, maybe not eat the tagine. So it's all about balance, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Absolutely. If you avoid the quinoa and vegetables and have the ice cream.
Yeah, we don't want both.
No. Siver on strike. Pandya in. Again, she swings and misses. This time looking to work it into the onside. She's ended up on her knees, hauls herself up now and has a look at the pitch in the manner of somebody that realises they've just played a rank shot and needs to find an excuse for it.
I mean, I don't know how you would describe that. Let's have a look on the replay. She's just heaved. She's lost all of her shape. She's tried to heave it into the leg side, and it was awful to watch.
Fielders in the deeper. Long leg, deep backward square and deep cover. Shikhar Pandya into Siver. Again, she's beaten. There's appeal. No, says Sue Redfern. The appeal was for caught behind. Siver doesn't look too worried. Shikhar Pandya is marching back, and Tanya Bhatia is saying, well, I think there was something on that. Mitali Raj, Julian Goswami are having a chat, and they have reviewed the decision. They have, right. Well, here we go.
Well, Tanya Bhatia is convinced that Nat Siver got something on this ball. It can't be pads. She was nowhere near her pads.
If she's taken it, this will be a seriously good catch. Shikhar Pandya bowling. Scrabbled seam, and it leaps up. Well, it's not anything apart from bat. I'm not convinced in terms of deviation. Here we go. Ultra Edge tells us nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Fresh
Flat
air.
line, fresh air. It's not far from the outside edge. It is, in fact, very close to the outside edge. But it is not close enough to cause any problems for Siver. And umpire Sue Redfern has done a good job there. Not out. And England remained at 125 for 2.
Well, it's just a bit of excitement there. Thought Nat Siver might have just got a little tickle on that. The keeper was convinced. The bowler not so much.
125 for 2 is the England score. With England so on top, it's untrue. Siver has 25 of them. Gets bat on ball this time, drives it down the ground, fielders up, mid-on, mid-off, and that is 4 runs. Well, she missed a few in the over, but Nat Siver connects with that one. And with the field up, as soon as it beat them, it's 4 runs. 129 for 2.
After a few ranked shots from Nat Siver in that over, that one was beautiful. Played high up the ground, straight back past Tammy Beaumont. Thought he'd just going to come off her bat at one stage, but as you say, mid-on and mid-off up. So that was 4 all the way.
And Siver moves to 29. 1 ball left of the 26th over. With England in cruise control. Siver waits. Keeper standing up to the stump. In comes Shikapandi. Well played once again from Siver. Down towards mid-on, where it's fielded by Harmanpreet Kaur. And the over concludes 129 for 2. England's target is 202. For reference, where England need to be at this point in terms of Duckworth-Lewis, well, if they were on 81, I should say, they would be. That is Duckworth-Lewis par at the moment at 129 for 2. They are well ahead of that. So, Alex, what can India do here?
I think what they have to do is set little targets within the game now. They're not going to win this game. So if they can say, right, well, if we can get England 150 for 4, 150 for 3, and just say, right, well, let's try and drag this game out as long as we can and try and pick up wickets along the way. You know, England will be wanting to get this game finished as soon as possible, and India, quite the opposite, see how long they can drag it out for.
Tammy Beaumont continues with this excellent run of form. She scored since the 2017 World Cup, ahead of this game, close to 1,400 runs at an average of 54. Ekta Bisht moving into bowl to Beaumont, defends into the ground, and there's no run.
I mean, the world's best ODI batter at the minute, ranked number 1, and rightly so. She scored runs after runs after runs.
Here comes Bisht again in the cap, long sleeves, fielders are out at long off and long on, and also deep backward square and deep mid wicket as Beaumont gives herself some space, wallops it out towards that fielder at deep backward square. Shikapandi in the blue headband picks up and throws. She could have put it pretty much anywhere and found the fielder. Looks frustrated, does Beaumont. 130 for 2.
I mean, she looks frustrated. She's 63 not out. There's no need to be frustrated, Beaumont.
Bisht bowling to Siver, who's beaten, lunging at one. Goes through to the gloves of the keeper. England past the midway point in the innings, but well past the midway point in the run chase. They only need another 72 for the win. As Ekta Bisht comes into bowl to Nat Siver, deep in the crease, hits the ball with a lot of bottom hand down the ground. Pooja Vastrika will pick up in front of us. And there is a single added. 1-3-1 for 2. We had our little walk around the ground. A lovely atmosphere out there. Plenty of supporters in.
There is. I think I've had a bit of a shocker though, Henry.
Hold on a minute. Wait a sec. Here comes the next ball. Down the ground it goes from Beaumont. Single added. 1-3-2 for 2.
Well, obviously, as we were walking back and I was licking my ice cream, I think I've dipped my hair in it.
No.
So I've got ice cream in the old hair. I only washed it this morning.
Oh, that is disappointing. 1-3-2 for 2. Siver on 30. Looking for a single behind square on the leg side. It's not there as Goswami picks up and shies to throw at the stumps. Doesn't. And that is the end of the over. 27 gone. England 1-3-2 for 2. Beaumont 64. Siver on 30. Yeah, that's always disappointing.
Yeah, you won't have that issue, will you? You can't dip your short hair in your ice cream, but...
Well, I could, but it would be slightly odd behaviour.
You'd be doing it wrong.
I'm not going to sort of slap a Viennetta on my head.
I will pay you if I could do that to your head.
put a Viennetta on my head.
Just put a slab of Viennetta on your head.
Would you? How much?
Fiver?
Yeah, all right.
Give the fans what they want.
Yeah, that's what they need to see. Yeah, it was always a Viennetta I'd have as a kid for my birthday.
Mint for me, yeah.
That and that fizzy apple drink. You know the one, smart one.
I know the one.
You know the one. That was the big treat for birthdays. 70 needed from 138 balls. England have all the time in the world. Beaumont equally has plenty of time to play that through the offside to deep cover and pick up a single. 133 for 2.
What I would like now is just to see England go, let's just try and finish this as quick as possible. Let's play some shots, let's have some fun. We all know Nat Siver can hit a long ball. I'd love to see some balls go into that crowd.
50 partnership for the third wicket. Beaumont has 20 of them, Siver 30. Yeah, they've got the room to do it and the batting to come. Mid-on and mid-off up still as Siver hits the ball away through the onside. Good half stop though, that's really well done from Harmanpreet, because that was racing away to the boundary. It'll be just the 2 rather than the boundary it looked like it was going to be. Diving to her right at mid-on. 133 for 2. And 135 for 2, I should say.
Brilliant piece of fielding that from Harmanpreet Kaur. That was most definitely going for 4. She's pulled out a brilliant full-length diving stop to her right-hand side.
Here comes Shikhar Pandey again. Waiting is Nat Siver, driving back into the ground. There's a rifle crack off the middle of that bat, and it's well stopped by Pandey in her follow-through. Walking back rather wearily to her mark is Shikhar Pandey. She's bowled 4.5 overs and has the air of someone that knows that this game is quite far away from India.
Yeah, either that or she's extremely unfit and she's struggling through her 4 overs.
Well, it's a no ball, so she's going to have to bowl an extra one. And that will mean it's a free hit, says Sue Redfern, the old disco lasso signal. And we're going to have a bit of fun here, surely, for Nat Siver. She can field can't change, so mid-on and mid-off up. I think I know where she's going to try and hit this, probably. Siver waits then. Here comes Shikhar Pandey. It's a free hit. Siver does go down the ground, gets some of it, not all of it, and in fact it's a dot ball because Harmanpreet Kaur has done well to stop it at mid-on.
Always disappointing that, isn't it? A free hit, a dot. And we see it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gone again. No ball again.
Is it? Oh dear.
The lasso's out again.
It is. Sue Redfern with the old lasso. It gives an insight into how somebody dances when you see how they umpire, I think.
If I was an umpire, I'd be Flair.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you do that sort of annoying thing where people look like they're going to give you out and then just scratch your nose? Here's Shikhar Pandey, second free hit, and this time Siver will pick up a boundary. Swatting the ball away, no chance for Harmanpreet at mid-on. 4 runs for Siver, and she decided rather than the elegance of the straight drive, it would be the big heave-ho. She's on to 36, England won 4-1 for 2.
Yeah, Nat Siver getting the second chance to hit that one. A free hit, learnt from a mistake from the previous ball and dissected mid-wicket and mid-on beautifully there.
Because you get some umpires that are quite extravagant in how they give decisions.
Billy Bowden.
Yeah.
He was outrageous.
Yeah. I mean, the counting of the sixes. In comes Shikhar Pandey then. Siver on 36. And fuels for one outside the off stump. Through to the gloves of Tanya Bhatia standing up. 1-4-1 for 2 it remains. The equation for England's victory, 61 from 134 deliveries. The end of this over after the next ball, or next couple of balls, I'll tell you what's happening in the T20 Blast today. So you think you'd be, as an umpire, quite sort of...
out there?
Yeah.
If I was to do a 4, I'd give it the old, squat and wiggle.
In comes Shikhar Pandey to bowl to Siver, driving really good stop from Pandey in her follow-through. But every 4, what if it's like a 400 plays 400 in a 50 over match?
Well, that's a lot of squats, isn't it?
Yes, you're doing your fitness, I suppose.
Get that ice cream in.
Yeah. What would you do for the 6?
I think I'd jump.
What, a bit like the Pointer Sisters?
But yeah, I don't know who they are.
Phil. A shake of the head from Phil Long. In comes Shikapandi to bowl to Siva. Dug out. Good full delivery to finish the over. Right, what's happening around the T20 Blast? Here, England 141 for 2. They need 61 to win from 132 deliveries in the game between Leicestershire and Worcestershire. Worcestershire need another 51 runs from 42 deliveries. They're 106 with just the 1 wicket down. Brett Oliveira has 50 and is unbeaten. Just see the dismissal of Ricky Vessels for 46. So 157 is the target. 51 needed from 42 balls for Worcestershire. Middlesex need 82 from 59 against Glamorgan. They're chasing 171 at Radlett. And Surrey against Sussex, again that was interrupted by the weather. Sussex bowling and Surrey 151 for 4. What's that for? There's applause around the ground. We can't see a big screen. I think there's a record for Tammy Beaumont, is there? Possibly. The cameras are on her. Anyway, start of a new over. Beaumont forward in defence. We'll get 1 into the leg side. That's good running. England 142 for 2. But there was suddenly an announcement made and some applause around the county ground. Don't know what that was.
She's on 66. Maybe they just got excited.
Back to Bish, bowling to Nat Siva, down the ground. 1 to long on. England need a further 60 runs from 131 balls. 59 from 130 now. It could be, could be anything. In comes Bish, bowling to Beaumont. Oh, what a shot that is! Clearing the front leg, lofting the ball for a 1 bounce 4 over extra cover. Beaumont does look like she's starting to move through the gears and have a bit more fun out there. It's a brilliant shot.
A brilliant shot outside the off stump from Hector Bisht. Maybe not even hitting the second set, just inside the wide line. Tammy Beaumont giving herself room, freeing her arms, being able to hit that over extra cover.
Oh, some lively umpire signals from some of the younger supporters in the crowd.
They know the game.
They do. Beaumont moves to 70. England 147 for 2. Hector Bisht is in. Beaumont's down the track. We'll get 1 into the leg side. That she'll then make it 2 because the 3 fielders running together on that leg side. Well, the ball's so well placed that none of them can get there in time to prevent that second run, and the crowd appreciate that running as much as they did the excellent shot the ball before. 149 for 2.
You could just hear Nat saying, yep, Tam, come on. And just that communication, Tammy Beaumont just knew that she just has to get up the other end, turn and go.
Bisht into Beaumont, who goes big into the offside again. Got a little bit underneath this one. Could be a chance. It goes just clear of the fielder. Dipti Sharma couldn't quite get there. And Beaumont gets back for 2 more. 150 up for England. 151 for 2. Beaumont's on to 74.
Beaumont frustrated with herself there, not quite getting hold of that one. A similar delivery from Hector Bisht outside the off stump. Beaumont thought she was a goner. She got away with it.
It's a wonderful replay on our monitors. She looks to the ground, then looks up and thinks, ooh, I'm all right.
To tell you what they did need there. Just a specialist mid-off.
They did, yeah. If only there was one around. Or a consultant that could help them.
Well.
151 for 2. Hector Bisht to bowl to Tammy Beaumont. It's forward in defence. And that is over. England 151 for 2. They need a further 51 runs, 126 balls left to do it.
I do make myself laugh because I've dropped some absolute sitters this season.
I know, that's the problem though, isn't it? Is that the social media clips, the highlights reel is sensational.
Yes.
As always with these things.
But nobody clips up the drop catches, do they?
Not yet.
When I lost my England contract back in 2019, me and Kate Cross always used to laugh about the really bad bits of fielding that I did, and she actually made a video which she promised never to show anybody, so she sent it to me, of all my fielding mistakes over the year, and it quickly became quite obvious why I'm up here and not down there.
I've seen that video, so she didn't do a very good job at not showing anyone.
Well,
or did you show me?
She didn't put it on the internet.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yes. Well, I know what you mean. There was the one in India.
Where I put 1 foot either side of the rope.
Yeah. Where the ball had gone towards the boundary, had been stopped by your teammate, and you straddled the rope, picked up the ball, threw it back, and said, "Well done, it's prevented a couple."
Oh, not good. I've had. We're playing in a World Cup game, and the caught and bowled chance. The ball went up in the air, and I just let the ball bounce off my head.
That was a warm-up, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's a great video. It is a great video.
Fielders out at long off, long on, deep mid wicket and deep backward square leg as Siva will get a single. Will she? No, it's stopped at mid on by Shefali Verma. Dipti Sharma bowling from the Ashley Down Road end of the ground now. And moving in now. Right arm over, the off spinner bowling to Siva, who again looks to try and find a single down the ground, but once more Shefali Verma scuttles to her left and picks up. And the score remains at 151 for 2. England need 51 from 124 deliveries. Sharma in again. Siva sweeping hard, should be stopped, and it is well stopped by Ekta Bisht. That was almost through for another boundary, not quite.
What would be good is if England chased this down and then they just stayed out just to see how many they could get. I mean, I know that's not how cricket works.
Not how the game works.
I do know that.
Dipti Sharma bowling. Siva will get one. That's good running, good talking between Beaumont and Siva as the ball's nudged into the leg side. Phil?
No, but I think what this England score does show, as Alex mentioned earlier, maybe doubling the score at 32 or 34, shows possibly what a par score on this pitch actually was.
Sorry, is that my middle off? Just a little bit. Yeah.
The cameras focus on Mitali Raj, who will be feeling perhaps, though she scored an excellent 70, that maybe, as Beaumont defends, maybe her innings did not quite have enough to it in terms of the aggression.
I mean, we all know that, don't we? She got... I don't know what she ended up getting now.
In comes Dipti Sharma. She got, in that first innings, top scored was 72 from 108. In comes Dipti Sharma to bowl to Tammy Beaumont, who'll get one down the ground, keep the strike, and moves to 75. So England are 153 for 2. Are we going to see drinks? I'm not sure quite yet. No, maybe the end of the next over. They need 49 from 120 balls. I'm getting out the way, and oh, is it raining? I think it might be. The covers being readied, and Daniel Norcross is going to follow me after a few words from Alex Hartley.
Well, I think it could be raining, you know. There's a few people in the crowd. They've just started putting their umbrellas up. They're erecting very quickly. And the covers do seem to be hovering. As well, both sides seem to be all right. They're cracking on. Tammy Beaumont's ready to face up for the next delivery.
Did Izzy Westbury feel this in her fingers and toes, I wonder? 153 for 2. Well, if it rains and they can't get back out there, then England have won the game. They've almost won the game as it is. They need another 49. Start of a new over. First delivery is cut. A straight cut, if you will. Up to long off for a single. One more to the total. One more to Tammy Beaumont, who moves to 76. Ekta Bisht into her 8th over. She's changed ends here. She's bowling from the pavilion end. Her first spell was from the Ashley Down end. Now, one of the things that England fans be looking out for as Bisht is in to Siva, who sweeps well, powerfully. That'll run away for 4. That's a wonderful shot with great power and great timing, some finesse as well there, because there is a fine leg, a short fine leg up, Julian Goswami, and there's a deep backward square, and somehow Siva has threaded the eye of the needle, picked up 4.
It just shows how hard Siva hits the ball. She's hit that on its merit. Followed it down the leg hand side. I've said it again.
Yeah.
I keep saying that at the minute.
Leg hand side?
It works, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's got 2 parts of the body in it. 3, actually, if you count side.
Anyway, the ball went for 4.
158 for 2. Siva to 42. Bisht in again. That's full and worked away nicely out to deep square leg. They should pick up 2 here. They have come back for a second, and they will make it comfortably as the throw comes in on the bounce to the non-striker's end. Siva to 44. 160 for 2. 42 more to win. Is there enough time in this for Beaumont to get 100? She'll be eyeing that, but with Siva going so well at the other end, she may not get the opportunity as Bisht is in again. And that's swept again, powerfully again, 4 again. It's on the pads of Siva from over the wicket, and Siva has just identified the line and the length to perfection here. She's picked up her second boundary in the over and moves to 48.
That shot identical to the one before from Nat Siva. The ball also identical, just sliding down past the leg stump. And Nat Siva helps it along its way.
See, these are the shots of power that we were not seeing against Ekta Bisht 6-7 years ago. I've mentioned it before, but it's really noticeable. These are long boundaries we got at Bristol. They're only in about 10 yards on either side, and that's running away for another 20-30 yards at least as Siva then punches off the back foot up to long on. Shikha Pandey does the fielding. They get through for one more, 165 for 2. The rain may be irrelevant, 37 more required. 115 balls. The approach from England has been so different from that of India. They've dominated this match almost from start to finish as Bisht comes round the wicket and Beaumont lets this go by outside the off stump. She advanced briefly and then thought better of it. End of the 30th over, 165 for 2. So if we're going to take your 32 over thing, Alex,
yep,
then I mean that would have England at about 360 if they'd had the full 50 overs batting first, isn't it?
I mean, they're in the position to do so, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they've got themselves off to a brilliant start. They've set the platform and they have the explosive power down the batting lineup, and it's not undoable.
Well, I guess it shows, as Phil Log said, it shows what India need to target in the upcoming couple of games, you know, because they don't want to get into this sort of place where they're going to be posting, 220, 230 each time. They now know they've got to go out harder if they bat first, don't they?
Yeah, India's average score since 2017, I think, has been 207. So below par, a lot below par. England have, consistently scored 250 plus. They're one of the best white ball teams in the world. So India just aren't quite catching up with the times, whether or not that's because India don't have a domestic setup as good as ours or as good as other nations.
Could it be the conditions? Because in India, we've heard that England struggled out in India. The last time they posted sub 200 was out in India. Mm-hmm. So maybe this sort of the par score that Indian batters are used to posting is lower.
Yeah.
220, 230. So if you're not used to English conditions where actually pitches are better for the batters, they're not thinking the right way to get to the kind of totals that are needed, because they're playing half their games at home where they think 220, 230 is a defendable total.
They've been in England for a while now, though.
That is also true. Yes. You're a harsh critic, Alex, but why not? You're taking a break. The drinks are on the field at the moment. The Indians are in a huddle. I don't know what Mitali Raj can be saying to her charges here. Just stick at it, I think. Maybe a wicket or two could create a collapse, but it just doesn't look like it at the moment. England are cruising. They have been superb with both bat and ball, and you have to say India have been a bit lackluster with bat, and I think they've been surprised actually at the way England have countered against the slower bowlers. They've had great success against England's batters in the past, taking the pace off the ball, but we've seen the way Beaumont and Siva particularly have swept hard at the slower bowlers, that there's really nowhere to hide for this attack. Isabel Westbury is back with us.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Are you going to come off your long run?
No, I don't think there's anything really to say. It's all been
said,
demonstrated. I mean, everything as you almost predicted it has happened, to be absolutely honest. No need. I'll just come off my hop, skip and a jump, thanks very much. A few paces.
Okay. Right, start of a new over. It's going to be Dipti Sharma to bowl it, with England 165 for 2. We have Snehal Pradhan with us. We're going to bring her in during this over. I'd like to get her views on India's performance today, what they need to do to change matters. As we just line up the field for you. 3 in the ring on the offside, backward point extra, mid-off. Well, sort of extra cover, really. Long off, wide mid-on, woman on the 45, as Siva just pokes this full delivery off her pads into the onside. Looks for 2, they're coming back for 2. That's brilliantly placed. That's gone only about 15 to 20 yards outside the fielding restriction circle. And Siva with that couple brings up her 50. She moves to 51. It's come off 60 balls. It's been a terrific knock from Siva. It's got a real power. When England lost their second wicket, there could have been jitters, there could have been nerves. Phil Long.
Yeah, it's her 18th ODI 50 and it's her third against India.
Thank you. And it's come at a strike rate of 85. She's only been out there for an hour. It's been great stuff. That's Dipty's in once more to Siva. And Siva advances and just works the ball up to mid-on. There's no run.
Should say it's the 18th time she's passed 50.
Right.
It's her 15th 50 because 3 of those have gone
become
on.
hundreds.
Yes.
Yes.
Always, it's the wording, isn't it?
We've got to get that bit right,
Yeah.
or else Andy Zoltzman will be angry with us. Next delivery is tossed up, and Siva's gone for it and walloped this over deep, well, wide, long on. That is a fantastic shot. Use of the feet, got to the pitch of the ball, lofted it over a sort of straight mid-wicket, and it has flown to the boundary. There's a fielder out there at long on, did not stand a chance. 4 more, 171 for 2.
Really well placed by Siva. I think she saw that long on and long off were reasonably straight. Big gap between long on and mid-wicket, and she found it. She knew what she was looking for, and she has the skills to execute. Beautiful.
What will Sharma do in response to that? She's bowled well so far today. Siva waits, pulls mercilessly out through deep square leg for 4. Again, she's found the gap in the field. A wonderful shot. She picked the length, went back into a crease and has hammered it to the boundary between that deep backward square and the deep mid-wicket. Snehal Pradhan looking on. What can India do here?
Does maybe not go a year without playing any cricket because it is showing.
I'll have to break you off there, I'm afraid, as Dipty Sharma's in again. That's worked up to wide, well, straightish actually, long on for another single. Takes Siva to 61, 76 for 2. Sorry, Snehal.
It's almost as if at the end of the T20 World Cup, March 2020, a race began when the pandemic hit, and then everyone is performing based on how quickly and how well they got their women's cricket programs up and running. Sri Lanka still haven't played any international cricket.
Sharma in, and Beaumont just pushes that ball up to mid-wicket and there's no run. That's the end of the over. You can, Snehal, I can bring you in more fulsomely now at 176 for 2 with 32 overs have been bowled.
I mean, we talk about India, but Sri Lanka still haven't played any international cricket since the T20 World Cup. Countries like Pakistan, South Africa, of course the Englands, Australias and New Zealands got their act together quite quickly as soon as conditions permitted after the pandemic. India, well, let's just say India seem to have other priorities, and the gap, it's almost like every other country has gotten a head start, has moved their game forward, and India are playing a game of perpetual catch-up. If you think about 2017, one of the reasons India did well is they played a lot of cricket leading into the 2017 World Cup. They played the ICC qualifier, they played a quadrangular in Ireland. India have not played a lot of cricket into these 2 series, and they're looking eerily similar.
Harmanpreet's going to start a new over. I just want to mull over. I asked Alex Hartley this question, Snehal, and I just wonder if I'm overthinking or not. But I wonder if I'll break off as Harmanpreet comes in to bowl her first ball. Siva's on strike. Siva just cuts this away, can't beat backward point, no run. Is it partly because the sort of scores on Indian pitches that sides are used to setting are a bit lower, so the ambition of a batting side might be not quite as high as it would be on these? This is a very flat deck here at Bristol. It's lovely outfield as Harmanpreet's in once more, and Siva goes back into a crease, pushes to short mid-wicket. There's no run.
Yes and no. It's not about the pitches, because for the most part, Indian domestic cricket and certainly international cricket is played on pretty good batting pitches. It's about the par scores that are kind of acceptable in domestic cricket, the winning scores in domestic cricket, and that's why that's all they have to do.
Harmanpreet in, and that's been swept fine by Siva. She has been sweeping superbly today. She picks up another boundary. This time she got it to the right of that short fine leg. The last over she got it to the left of the short fine leg a couple of times. Snehal, I'm going to bring you in at the end of the over again, because we're just struggling with this very rapid over rate that India are unfurling as the game moves towards its conclusion, with spin on at both ends. The score now 180 for 2. England just 22 away from a comprehensive victory. They have 105 balls to get them in, which will not be required, I'm fairly sure, as that's thrashed away again. But again, Siva can't beat that point fielder, and there's no run. Siva has 64, Beaumont 76. I don't think Beaumont's going to get 100 now because, you know, ask Bill Long, Siva scored how many of the last 24, 26 runs? She seems to have got nearly all of them. So Harbourpreet's in, down the wicket comes Siva, lofts it high, back over the bowler's head for 6. It clatters into the cover just below me. Again, great use of the feet. England's batters today have been so proactive. They've come after India's spinners. They've not let them settle. And it's been a masterclass, really. 186 for 2, Siva to 70, just 16 more to win. Full face of the bat, a perfect shot from Nat Siva. And there's an embrace between the two batters, which should only mean one thing, Phil.
It's a 100 partnership, just the second time England have added 100 for the third wicket against India. The highest, Jenny Gunn and Claire Taylor, 127 back in 2006.
Which Siva's got 70 of them. She cuts this time, she does beat the fielder, but she'll only pick up the one for as it goes out to sweep on the offside.
And very quickly, in answer to your previous question, at the end of the 25th over, Tammy Beaumont was 62 not out, and Nat Siva had 29.
Yes, there you have it. Snehal, at the end of the over, we can bring you back in. 186 for 2. From an England point of view, you must have been impressed by the way the batters have used their feet. They've got after the spinners in ways that they haven't managed against India sometimes in the past.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can see the fruits of so much effort been put into the power hitting side of things with England. I remember when they came to India in 2018, was it? They had a power hitting coach, I think Julian Wood, traveling with the team. So there's significant investments made in that direction, and we are seeing the fruits of those investments in this series.
Well, Julian Goswami has been brought back into the attack. India's got to try to get a wicket. They've got to try to land some blows. It's a 7-match series in effect that's being played here. A test match, 3 ODIs, 3 T20s. So whilst India looks certain to lose this game, they would like to have some memories of moments they can take into other matches. Phil?
Yeah, well, they're losing it rapidly at the moment. 34 off the last 3 overs.
Wow. 14 more required for victory. Goswami is in. And Siva drives nicely, can't beat cover, and there is no run. 187 for 2. Siva 71 from 71, Beaumont 76 from 80. So how many balls did that 100 partnership come up in? Because Siva got 70 of them. She must have had a lot of the strike in this partnership, I'm thinking, because she's about to face only 8 balls fewer than Beaumont. Of course, she arrived much later, Beaumont opening the batting. As Goswami runs in and Siva punches off the back foot, she'll find a single. She doesn't hit it with any great timing, but there's a gap between point and extra cover, which she finds and moves to 72.
Yeah, when Nat Siva came in, Tammy Beaumont was 45 from 45, so she has caught up and some.
Yeah, well, she had a lot of the strike there, 45 and 45, so Beaumont's had 35 balls in the time that Siva's had 72, so sort of 2 to 1 strike rate. Beaumont will not mind that. She's on strike now on 76 with 14 more required for victory. Goswami in, and Beaumont just pushes in defence into the offside. Hoped there might be a single there, but couldn't quite find the gap. Isabel Westbury, it has been comprehensive from England so far today.
It feels as though these two sides are stuck in different eras. I mean, England not so much stuck, but racing away and really capitalising on that period post, the disappointment, I guess, of the 2020 World Cup last year. They used their time off wisely. A lot of power hitting, as Snehal was saying, was India just, stuck, really.
Swami in. That's pulled beautifully by Beaumont. That does make it for 4. That's a wonderful shot. Because there is a fine leg and there's a deep backward square leg, and Beaumont has found that gap. It was short from Goswami, but she swiveled and pulled it gloriously to move to 80. The end is nigh. 10 required. 192 for 2.
200 all out is one thing, but 200 with your 50 overs it's a very 2000s score, 1990s score.
It was overs 11 to 30, which were really indicative, weren't they? When they were going on at about 2.5, 3 and over. Goswami in, and Beaumont flicks this into the onside. Wants a single, it's not there. It goes to Shafali Verma at short mid-wicket. There's no run, she just fumbles it slightly. 1 ball left in the over. I don't have my phone on me, so I don't want to hog any time that Emily Windsor should be having here on debut. So we might bring her in straight after this ball. There's 1 ball left in the over. 3 in the ring on the offside, 2 on the leg side. No real attacking threat. There's no slip in. Goswami is in, and Beaumont drives without power, without timing. Ball rolls up to mid-off. That is the end of the over, and I'm not going anywhere. 192 for 2. Siva 72, Beaumont 80, 10 required from 96 balls. Stahal, we'll talk to you, I think, at the end of the game, which I think is coming shortly for your more considered analysis. Because I think we've probably got about an over and a half to go, which is not to disrespect India's bowlers, just that England's batters here are putting on a fantastic display. It has been thrilling to watch. As I say, the ground dimensions here at Bristol are large. I mean, do you remember the Ashes, I want to say in when would it be, 15? Remember going to a game at Worcester when Nat Siver won a game for England in partnership as the start of a new over. He's crashed away, he's running away out towards deep extra cover, and they pick up just a 1 run. Was it Nat Siver and Lydia Greenway?
Yeah, wasn't it a Mark Robinson kind of bit of thinking to bring the ropes in as far as you could?
Yes.
And then it would encourage and give the women confidence to
hit
go
over
and
the
clear
top.
the ropes, yeah.
But it was a very small boundary here. It's not really much different from where Gloucestershire will play their men's T20s on. As Beaumont advances, pushes the ball on the offside, there's no run. Although we haven't seen much in the way of sixes, we have seen the ball powering into the boundary sponge, have we not?
Yeah, absolutely. You almost feel as though they needed a few years to play with the smaller boundaries, know what it's like, know that they can clear them, give them the confidence, and now away you go.
Next delivery from Harmanpreet is cut into the offside by Beaumont for a single. She'll be eyeing a red inker here. She's on to 81, 194 for 2. 8 required for England. They have plenty of time to get it. They have plenty of wickets. It's been a dominant display today. India rocked by the loss of 2 early wickets, and after that they went into their shell as Harmanpreet's in. And Siva pulls vigorously out to deep backward square leg. Great timing. Just picks up the single as Poonam Rao tidies up. 195 for 2.
Patali Raj cutting quite a disconsolate figure on our television cameras. You do feel for her, because it is, it's difficult when perhaps you do feel that pressure of having to anchor the innings, for batters to bat around you, and you've lost your 2 openers.
Harmanpreet in. Down the wicket comes Beaumont, hits it high in the air, and it's going to go over the top of long on to bring the scores level. Another 6, this time from Tammy Beaumont, down the ground. Again using her feet, lofting it just over Shikhar Pandya here on the long on boundary. It's just what we've been talking about. Encouraging 6s in the women's game, and in so doing, well, that would be a 6 in a men's T20. She's hit it over the boundary down here up to where the temporary stand is, and that's where the stand is.
Well, there's a long on fielder as well. There's a long on fielder. She took it on. She knew it was there. Quite happy to take it on. Right,
the field now will come in a rather understandable but futile attempt to fight back with the scores level. 201 for 2. Here comes Harmanpreet into Beaumont, and Beaumont misses a wide one. That is the winning run. England have won by 8 wickets in rather anticlimactic fashion as the umpire signals wide. A ball speared wide of the off stump, but Beaumont embraces Siva. Their unbeaten partnership has taken England to very comfortable victory. They finish winners by 8 wickets. Nat Siva unbeaten on 74. Tammy Beaumont a splendid 87. Her terrific form continues, and it has been a thrashing, really, a marvelising. England have been on top pretty much from the start of this game, and they have never let loose the noose. England win by 8 wickets. Isabel Westbury, comprehensive victory.
Comprehensive victory, which you almost could predict from the very, first 10 overs or so, the moment that Shafali Verma and Smriti Mandana, that unknown quantity at the top of the order. We've seen them both dynamically in the Test match and in the T20 arena. I mean, Shafali Verma was lit up the T20 World Cup last year, so you kind of felt that could get going. It could inject some impetus into India's innings, but Catherine Brunt winning that tussle with Verma on this occasion, bumping her out, top edging it to Anya Shrubsole at mid-on, and from that moment on, as you say, Daniel, it was from the 11th over to the 30th. It was a disappointment, really, because India weren't all out. They had wickets in hand. It was a measured approach, but one that was just measured all wrong, really. And you feel as though India need to change not just their batting and their form, but their approach more than anything as well, and their mindset. So lots to think about from an Indian perspective, but really thorough all-round performance as far as England are concerned.
Well, it has been. It's been a fantastic performance by England. The numbers will tell you some of it, but it will not tell you all of it. It's about approach, about the way England have gone about it, but also about the way India went about it. You can't help thinking. Snehal Pradhan is with us. We've been going on a little bit about India's approach, but it seemed to put pressure on that lower order as well. I know Harmanpreet's not been in the best of form, but we saw what Dipti Sharma can do. We've seen what the lower Indian batting could do during the Test match. Here they were just asked to do too much, it felt to me, in that period after the 11th over, when India went at a bit of a crawl, didn't show a great deal of ambition at that stage, and as a result the innings sort of petered out, did it not, Snehal?
Yes, it did. It was a case of really, like I described on Twitter, a traffic jam with a couple of slow-moving vehicles blocking everyone else behind them, and then leading to a little bit of a mad rush as the overs tick down, which then doesn't usually lend itself to excellent batting and long innings. So it was a little bit of a mess, and just like the South Africa series where India surprisingly lost at home, not surprisingly if you think about it, this game certainly serves as a wake-up call for India in examining the brand of cricket that they are playing. I mean, this is one of those intangible words along with intent, but it is really the target that you want to set, if you really have to distill it, the target that you want to set in good batting conditions, and how are you going to get there?
I guess the question I have to ask you is, do you think that they'll make that change in mindset for the next game? I mean, they've seen how England are going to approach it. They've seen how England have sort of looked at 201 and said, are you joking? I mean, that's going to be nowhere near enough. So now India must know, if they bat first, they've got to set something well in excess of 250, haven't they?
Yes, I do think actually that this change is possible within the space of one game, and it is basically necessity that will drive it, because all of these players have the ability. Like Izzy's been going on about Mithali Raj, it's not that she doesn't have the gears. Poonam Raut in domestic cricket has played some very quick innings in the T20 format, believe it or not. She does have the capacity to score faster than her usual rate. She showed that against South Africa, and I have a feeling that the next game is once again going to see a sword basically dangling on her head, especially when you have the obvious talent of Jemima Rodrigues and a little bit of a modern approach with Rodrigues sitting on the bench. So yes, I think they can change, and this, just the magnitude and the degree and almost the ease with which England have waltzed home is going to force that change. I'm very curious to see how it looks in the next ODI.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if Smriti Mandana and Shafali Verma get going, then you think that they will play, won't you, Alex Hartley, like England's middle order have. So if England don't get them early, there's still every chance that these next two matches are going to be tight.
Yeah, I think there's so much pressure on those two, which isn't necessarily a good thing. But if either of those two can get going, Smriti Mandana, one of the most explosive batters in the world, and Shafali Verma, even more explosive, they do have the firepower. It's just whether or not they can work together, and Mandana likes to rotate the strike, Verma doesn't, so whether or not they can communicate and just be better with each other.
England found a bit of a method with Verma, didn't they? They did go short at her. She's going to go for it anyway, and I think that might be the line of attack that they'll follow. Yeah,
she's an aggressive player, and no matter what you bowl at her, she'll take on. She'll be the one to try and take the bowlers on. So yes, England have noticed that she's not as strong with the short ball off the back foot, so that was their plan today.
We don't have long left. A quick word on England from both of you, Snehal, literally in sort of 10 seconds. What did you make of England today?
England were a team that looked like they know exactly what their sixth gear looks like, and they just dropped into that gear so quickly, so effortlessly.
Alex?
Absolutely clinical.